Fire it up for Super Saturday, mate. Super Saturday. We are live. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport, we are live as the Redcliffe Dolphins. The kicker gear will be taken on the Cronulla Sharks. And I tell you right now, Cronulla, I tell you, you are skirting on the thin lines, the thin ice of going into Antarctica on this damn well ladder. But at the time being, you did win against the Broncos last week. You take that every single time. Of course, he took the 2 points there. It wasn't ultimately convincing. No, it wasn't ultimately convincing. But you did get the job done. Obviously, after you did lose to the Roosters a couple of weeks ago, and you did beat the Wars 10 points to 8. So, you know, at this point, I just think they kind of are like a permanent scam because we just don't know what we're going to get for them. And today's going to be the prime example. If they can go and beat this Dolphins team here today, who have been in some great form. And look, last week, sure, wasn't great. They lost 13-12 to the Knights. That was with all of their players out, like quite literally pretty much everybody was out in that game. They still don't have a full team here today. At least they get a couple of their Origin boys back in. They need those Origin boys right now. But, you know, last week they were really pillaged for numbers. And, you know, they are still missing their halfback, obviously, into Sakatoa here, the Dolphins. So the Sharks, this realistically, if they are the team that they believe they are, that they are top of the table, back-to-back prelims over the last couple of years, you should really be expecting to come in here and get the job done. But ultimately, you did play this team earlier on the season, and you lost 38-10 to them. And this is when the Dolphins weren't actually playing that fantastic back in round 3. But the Dolphins came in and absolutely slapped them in 38-10, and that was fantastic. That was one of the biggest results for the Dolphins so far this season. I do think that their best result for me was probably the one against the Wars a couple of weeks ago. Was probably the most impressive. And they've done some pretty good things to get through some tougher matchups in terms of not the actual team that they're playing, but with all their players out, which when they had the Origin players out for Game 2 and the Origin players out for Game 1, they were able to come through and win that game against the Raiders 30-22. And then the other game before Origin 2 might have been against the Roosters. No, it wasn't against the Roosters. Who was it against? Who was it against? It might have been, actually. No, it was. Yeah, no, it was. It was against the Roosters when they won 48 points to 10. But the Roosters have plenty of outs themselves there. So, look, the Dolphins are obviously, for mine, the team in the better form outside of last week, but there was excuses there. The Sharks, for mine, should be better than the Dolphins in a lot of ways, for mine. They have been preliminary finals back-to-back years and should be a lot better than they are. But even in their wins recently, it just hasn't been ultimately convincing, and we'll get into that in just a few moments. But let's get into the two-team lives here before we do get into three-game slate of Rugby League here today. So the first game is obviously Dolphins Sharks. Then we've got Bulldogs versus the Raiders, followed by the final game, which is the Sydney Roosters taking on the Parramatta Squirrels later on today. It's actually a big day here because Bulldogs, they must win to keep their top 8 chances alive. You know, they're still chasing down on 13 wins. They're currently at 7. So they need to win 6 out of their remaining 9 games because they've played all 3 of their buys. So they need to get 6 wins from their remaining 9. So every single game counts right now. We are into the back stretch of the season. We're into the final straight. You have to hit home run after home run after home run right now. This is it's not bottom of the 9th. This would be like the bottom of the 8th is what I would say. Or bottom of the 7th. It's getting real nervy. You know, once we get past round 21, I'd say it's bottom of the 8th. And then the last 3-4 rounds would be bottom of the 9th for anyone who understands baseball terminology. But guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here, and let's get into this game here today. So the Dolphins, they come to this game from 5th position. The Sharks come to this game from 6th position, and this is at KO Stadium in Redcliffe. Now, the ins for the Dolphins, Max Platt, massive in. Thomas Flegler, massive in. With the outs being John Finian Ganofo and Sam Elliott. The fullback is Trey Fuller, with the wingers being Jermaine Asako and Tavita Nafahu. Centers of Jake Avarillo and Herbie Farnworth. The 5'8" is Cody Nicarima, with the halfback being Bradley Schneider. Front row forwards are Francis Molo and Thomas Flegler, with the number 9 being Jeremy Marshall-King, back row of Kaneli Lamwelu and Kulikefu Funifuiaki, with the 13 being Morgan Knowles, and the interchange is Felice Kafusi, Kurt Donahue, Tom Gilbert, Sebastian Stewart, Brian Puniu, and Max Platt, with the coach being Christian Wolf. This Dolphins team, they have been really good to watch this year, and I say this every week, and I'll continue to say it just in case people haven't watched our streams before, and they don't watch every single game, or they're just tuning in for a Dolphins game on the occasion. This Dolphins team has impressed me this year because they have adjusted and changed what they represent, who they are within as a club. They have changed from being an all-out attacking unit where they just attack, and they'll think about defense later, and they think about defense too late, and they lose games 36-34 kind of deal. That's what the Dolphins were. This year, they have been a completely opposite team in terms of they will actually typically go down in the first 10 to 20 minutes of games. You will see the opposite team more often than not score first and take a little bit of a lead, whether it be that Bulldogs game where the Bulldogs led like 14 points to 4, or I don't think the Roosters led them, did they, before they lost 48-10? No, they didn't. That was a completely different game. That was completely different. I think the Sharkies did lead actually earlier on in the season before the Dolphins came running over the top of them. But recently speaking, you did see a prime example of a game that I'm referring to here. That was the Bulldogs game for sure. It was the Bulldogs game. Did the Warriors score first in that game? No, Dolphins scored first and then Warriors scored straight after. Anyway, long story short, if you do look across their season, the Dolphins will actually typically go down a little bit at the start and then they will chase it home. Titans are a great example when they were at 14-0 and came back in that one, but that wasn't a great game, but at least they got the job done overall, and that was much earlier in the year. But this Dolphins team earns their right to attack. Like in cricket, in Test cricket, they wait for their moment to pounce, and then once they pounce, you better be damn well ready for it because they will come strong. They have an electric attack here. Now, of course, their fullback of Hamiso Tapuai'atodo is not here. That is a big loss in this game. And Isaiah Katoa, that's also a massive loss in the 7. So the Sharks have a prime example, a real big-time opportunity here to take down this Dolphins team and give them 2 losses in a row. Because as we always say, you got a full spine, you got a great chance to win. You got 1 player out, you still got a decent chance to win. You got 2 players out in the spine, it's unlikely it's going to be it's tough to get a win. And then 3 players out, two spine players out, it's unlikely to win. 3 players out, you're probably not going to win. And then 4 spine players out, you're just simply not going to win. That's usually how we do it. That's usually how we kind of define in terms of the spine players being out. Like, at least they've still got Marshall King and Cody Nikorima, and Nikorima's been really good this season, and he is an underrated player, Cody Nikorima. He is really, really good. So this Dolphins team is just missing 2 very, very key and crucial figures to their attack because it's their fullback and their halfback. Look, I think most people will probably argue that the ranking system of a spine will typically actually go 7, 9, 1, 6 in that order. I would probably say, I guess you could make an argument for the 6 being more important than the 1, but the 1 is still incredibly important, and the 9 is undeniably important because it's the 9 who chooses where the ball's going from the dummy half. So that's why I think there's actually a question between, do you believe the halfback is the most important figure or the 9 is the most important figure? I used to say it was the 9. I would say that definitely nowadays it's the 7. I think it does interchange between the 2 of them. Like when Cameron Smith was rolling around, I would have said the number 9 was the most important. Now with Nathan Cleary rolling around, I guess the 7 is the most important. So whoever the best player in the game is usually defines that in my personal opinion. But the 7 and 9 can be interchanged depending. I do think the 1 is probably more important than the 6, but the 6 is still obviously important. Still a spine player. Not trying to take away from them. I just think that 1 does still have a little bit more importance on that kind of radar section. So they are without that 7 and the 1, and that is a big concern. But Herbie Farnworth is amazing. You know, Avarillo's fine. Jermaine Sarko, he's been brilliant this year. Off to the Melbourne Storm next year, so he wants to try and win it before he heads off. David Nafahu is solid. Bradley Schneider is okay. A little bit of concern there. Front and forwards are tough, no X factor, but tough, and will make a bucket load of tackles, and Flegler can pop up, obviously an Origin representative. The back rowers of Finifuiaki and Lemuelu have been great this year, specifically Finifuiaki. I don't think Lemuelu's had an amazing year, but he does his job at a really good level. And then Morgan Knowles is the 13, where they usually would have like a Maxi Plath who's on the bench here today. It's not guaranteed he actually comes on because he is number 23 here. He is the last man on the interchange, so there's no guarantee that he actually even comes into the game. But the point of the matter is that this Dolphins team do have every opportunity to win any game at the moment, except for maybe the Panthers with these players out. But this Sharks team is still in a desperate time. And actually, they're both in the same area of the table. They're right next to each other, and they're on the same amount of points. So it's like they both should be as desperate as each other because neither one of them have guaranteed a spot in the top 8 yet. especially not the Sharks with 9 wins compared to the Dolphins with 10 wins. So the Dolphins only need 3 more wins. The Sharks only need 4 more wins out of their remaining 9 games to get in. The benefit there for the Sharks is that they do have that extra game because they've already had those 3 byes. So this is kind of where, this is the point of the season where you actually kind of like not having a bye, because it means that you have that extra game over the top that can, and especially points differential wise is so separate, but you do have that extra game over the top where you don't have to, like, sure, you'll get the 2 points, but you do want it in your own hands in a way. I don't know if I'm making sense there, but the point matter is that I actually like the Sharks' positioning there of the fact that they do have that extra game. It just comes down to them winning that extra game, though, to keep them equal there with the Dolphins, but the Dolphins' points differential is great. Long story short, Dolphins, very solid team. Sebastian Sewer, called him as a breakout player. Hasn't really done anything so far. Want to see him come on and do a good job here today. I thought he was pretty good. He was okay last week. And that's the Dolphins. So Trey Fuller, he's a solid replacement, but he's no Hamiso Tabuafado. And Bradley Schneider, he's an okay replacement, and he's definitely no Isaiah Katoa. But this Dolphins team still has plenty of talent across the park. Now, in regards to the Cronulla Sharks, their ins, Adam Fanor-Blake and Blake Brayley, with the outs being Harrison Hassett and Jesse Colhoun. That means that Britton Nakora is not playing here today. You go to the fullback, William Candy, with the wingers being Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Molotalo. Centers of Jesse Ramian and Kale Iro. The 5'8" is Braden Trindle, with the halfback being Nico Hines. Front row forwards are Thomas Hazelton and Oregon Kafusi, with the number 9 being Blake Brayley. Back row of Billy Burns and Teague Wilson, with the 13 being Cameron McInnes, who was the captain. And the interchange, Jaden Beryl, Hohepa Paru, Siasi Fatalakai, Tuka Hautapua, Moni Hiroti, and Adam Fanor-Blake, with the coach being Craig Fitzgibbon. So Fanor-Blake is backing up, similar to Max Platt, but they are both the last men on the bench there, so no guarantee they come on, even though they probably do come on. Blake Brayley backing into that number 9 is great. Obviously, he didn't play a full 80, so you can understand that. And this is a very, very important game here between 5th and 6th, a massive, massive game between these two clubs. Billy Burns has been fantastic in the back row. Teague Wilton is solid. Cameron McInnes is solid. Oregon Kafusi's okay. Hazelton's okay. Blake Brayley's great. Their forwards are pretty solid overall, I would say. And they're going up against a Dolphins forward pack here today that, would really benefit from a guy like Maxi Platt being straight up in the lineup there. But then again, the Sharks would really benefit from Adam Fanor-Blake. Overall, this Sharks forward pack is pretty good. They're not amazing, but they're pretty good. And then you go to the back line, and that back line should be amazing. It should be undeniable. Will Kennedy is just very inconsistent, but when he has an amazing game, he'll go and score a couple of tries out of nowhere. He doesn't usually score tries, but when he scores a try, it kind of typically comes in a couple. So Will Kennedy, if he can get a good move on here today, if he scores a try, you can probably look at him getting a second, to be fair. Molotalo and Sione Katoa, 2 international wingers there. Jesse Ramian and Kale Iro. Iro is an international, but for Cook Islands. And Jesse Ramian, has he played international? Has Jesse Ramian played international? He has not. No, he has not. I don't know where I'm getting that from. Yeah, no, he hasn't. I don't know why that's him. Oh, maybe because he was like somewhat around the New South Wales team for a little bit, but didn't actually play. But anyway, long story short, the Sharks team is good. They just need to be better. They just need to be simply better. They are on scam for a reason. And that's even after a win against the Broncos, because that game against the Broncos last week was not overall impressive. They won 28-16, but it came down to the last few moments where Braden Trindle, was able to steal it away because the Broncos were coming back there. Hayes Perham scored, and then Dean Mariner scored in the 73rd minute. We're like, oh shit, Sharks, you're not going to do this again, are you? Like, really, we're not going to do this shit again, are we? To the Broncos, who were in second last. Now they're in fourth last with the fact that they had the bye. But we were just thinking, shit, the Sharks are doing it all over again. But obviously, it wasn't to be. The Broncos made a huge mistake, and the Sharks ended up capitalising on it and won the game. So at the very least, they got the 2 points there. But it was not unreal. They still made quite a few errors in that game and allowed the Brisbane Broncos to be in it. Actually, how many errors did the Sharkies actually have last week? The Sharks had 11 errors. That's actually not that bad. That's not that bad. That is on the average category. So across a full game, 3 goes to 6. Anything under 6 is really good. 7 to 14 is average, and then 15 and above is awful. So Broncos at 13 actually wasn't that bad, and Sharks at 11 definitely wasn't that bad. So it didn't actually have as many errors in that game as you think. But the penalties, the Sharks had 10 penalties against them. That is outrageous. That is outrageous. Now, you are seeing the NRL really adjust its game away from their 6 agains, which is just wild. Like, they never tell anybody that they're going to do something, and they just decide to to do it. Like, it's actually amazing. 6 against the start of the season and last season were just through the roof, and now they just don't even really happen too much, which is like, okay, most people were wanting that. Pretty much everybody was wanting that, but also it would have been nice if, you kind of did this before the season started, not like midway through, because you've seen teams like, for example, who's a great team here? Who's a great example of a team that has just been adjusted away from? So, I guess the Bulldogs got screwed at the very early part of this season, and now they're starting to warm up a little bit with the adjustment kind of going away from those 6 against again. Point of the matter is that they just love to reduce, maybe not even remove, but they do remove things too, but reduce the 6 again rule to kind of cater to the game and cater to the fans, but nobody knows about it until it just starts happening. And I've noticed in the last definitely couple to 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks that the 6 against have definitely been reduced from what it was at the beginning part of the year. Which means that they're refereeing the game differently, which is not exactly what you want, but at the very least, we are seeing a lot more free-flowing footy in terms of the whistle being out of the mouth for the most part, unless teams are just simply getting penalised. And again, the Sharks gave away a ridiculous amount of penalties last week. Obviously, they had that bye. They beat the Roosters. They lost the Roosters 27-8, just convincingly there. Beat the Warriors 10-8, which was, decent, but also it wasn't overall that amazing of a game. A lot of errors between the two teams. Did beat the Dragons, but they were down at halftime in that game. They whooped them in the end, 34-12, but they were down at halftime, and they were up by a big margin against Manly when they won 28-22, but Manly did come, rocketing home to make it close. Their last real convincing win for mine was against the Bulldogs, but the Bulldogs aren't in a great area as a club right now, but I would say that Bulldogs win was a really clean and crisp performance there from Cronulla. The Dragons won second half was, but this Sharks team is definitely more of a second half team than a first half team is what I would say. But I don't think it's a guarantee as well. So, actually, I should have gone through this with the Dolphins, and I will do that in a second. Sharks, in regards to getting to the top 8, they're on 9 wins right now. They need to get to 13, which means that they're on 32 points. 32 points is what's probably going to get you into the 8. 34 might be the necessary this year, but I would say that 13 wins should get you in with the 32 points is what you would normally see. Now, they've got the Dolphins here, so it means they need 4 more wins. They've got the Dolphins, the Knights, Manly, the Rabbitohs, the Dragons, the Raiders, the Titans, the Eels, and the Storm. So they don't have a bye for the rest of the season. And that's what I was saying in regards to it benefits them. They have a great opportunity to win against the Dolphins today because Asai Katoa and Hamiso is out. There's no excuses here for Cronulla. There just isn't. I'm actually going to tip Cronulla in this game, even though I probably shouldn't. Because form-wise, the Dolphins have been the better, but they are without really key and crucial players, whilst the Sharks really aren't. So, I'm going to tip the Sharkies here today. So if that's going to be the case, and that's 1 win, they're on 10, they need 3 more. Well, the Knights game is definitely winnable next week. The Manly game after that is also very winnable. The Rabbitohs game is very winnable. The Dragons game should just simply be a win, but the Dragons do usually play tough against them. The Raiders should be winnable. The Titans, they should definitely win. The Eels, they should definitely win. And the Storm, well, they might be just desperate to make the top 8 at that point. But the Sharks might have already been guaranteed in. I think that the Sharks are a guarantee for the top 8 right now, despite the fact that they are on scam, despite the fact that a lot of people would be off of Cronulla. I think it's pretty much a guarantee that they get 4 wins out of that. Because even if you say they lose here today, everybody else is still very beatable, and the Storm are still very beatable themselves. They've got it's a bit of a tricky schedule over this next month with Dolphins, Knights, Manly, and Rabbitohs, but I could definitely still see them picking up at least 2 of those wins, and maybe even 3 of those wins. And honestly, they've been in 2 prelims in a row. They could get all 4 of those wins, and then they've got a really easy stretch after that against the Dragons, the Raiders, the Titans, and the Eels. So this Sharks team should be, if you're looking to get on a little bit of a cheeky gamble in terms of who's making the top 8 this year, I know it wouldn't be paying a great deal, but I do feel like a lot of people would be they wouldn't be looking at the schedule to come, and they would be a little bit concerned and a little bit hesitant in tipping the Sharks. But I think the Sharks top 8 is nearly a bolter right now with their run home. And again, they don't have another bye, so it's not like they're playing it out of the next 8 games. They've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games to go. So they only need to win less than 50% to make this top 8. Less than 50%. So the Sharkies should just simply be making the 8 by the end of the season. And if they win this game here today, only 3 more wins. And their schedule is just super easy in comparison to other teams, which is actually a common theme that we notice about the Sharks pretty much every single year. So that's the Sharks. I will go switch over to the Dolphins here because we didn't speak about it before. So the Dolphins, they're on 10 wins. So they only need the 3 wins, and they've got a great points differential. So definitely only 3 wins you would assume to get into the top 8. They're on 24 points. Now, they've got the Sharks, then the Cowboys, a bye, which doesn't really help them an insane amount. The Dragons, the Broncos, Manly, the Eels, the Roosters, and then the Titans. This team should also be guaranteed for a top 8 spot unless they fall off a cliff like they've done the last couple of years at this time of the season. You would just be expecting this Dolphins team to get to the top 8. And honestly, based off that schedule, you could definitely expect top 4. You could even argue top 4 for the Sharkies too, mind you. But like, even if they lost this game here today, and even if they lost the Cowboys, they're going to beat the Dragons. They should beat the Broncos. They should beat the Eels. They absolutely will beat the Eels. And they should definitely be beating the Titans. So that's 4 wins right there, and that's on 14 wins. Even just the 3. Like, if you just... They've got 15th position. Sorry, 16th position, which is the Titans. They've got 15th position, which is the Eels. And they've got 14th position, which is the Broncos. And they've got 17th position with the Dragons. They get to play the bottom 4 across this next 8 rounds with them because they do have a bye. So both these teams should just simply be making the 8. I don't think there's any excuses, and there's no way that we should be talking about them potentially missing the 8. If one of these 2 teams misses the 8 from here, it's a choke of epic proportions, which is not out of the equation, to be fair. Like, it's not just absolutely insane to think about, but both these teams should be a guaranteed spot for the top 8 with their run home, regardless of a win or a loss here today. Especially with a win, but with a loss, they should be sweet. But in this game, I am going to go against my typical thought process of I don't ever want to tip the Sharks. If I get it wrong, that's fine. You know, the Sharks have gone on to win, which, you know, I do like the Sharkies. I've got a soft spot for them from mum. I want to see them go well. But also, they are the most infuriating team. I would honestly say, outside of my own team, the Gold Coast Titans, this would be the most infuriating team to watch. I think most people will agree with that too, and I think Sharks fans will agree with that. They're so inconsistent. They can be amazing. When they're on, they're red hot, man. But when they're off, they honestly make me want to headbutt a brick wall. And that's from a person who doesn't actually support them. The Sharks team has the talent. And if they don't perform this year, I've really got to say that there has to be question marks on Craig Fitzgibbon not getting them over the line. You know, we don't always just go straight and blame the coaches and whatnot. And I think blaming coaches is very overused in rugby league, where everyone will always just look at the coach. But I think that in terms of the Sharks, they have a good roster here. I know they've got a couple of players out here, but like still, it's pretty much full strength, really, besides Britton Okora and obviously Adam Blake's on the bench instead. But this Sharks team should just simply be winning more games than they're losing. And whilst, yeah, they've got the 9 wins compared to the 6 losses, I think that they should be in the top 4. I think that on paper, and based off of recent history, they should be a top 4 team. You know, they didn't finish top 4 last year. They finished top 4 the year before, and they did finish in the top 4 but making prelims for the last couple of years. But the Sharks team should be much better than what we see. We shouldn't be so frustrated watching them every single week, in my opinion. So that's why we'll say, well, the playing group should be good. Okay, yeah, sure, the halves combination is still a issue. Yeah, sure, you could look at the organisation and say, well, what's happening here? But I still think the team has been placed together well. So the coach should be getting more out of them for mine. And that's why I think that it's a fair point of potential criticism for Fitzgibbon if he doesn't, you know, continue on getting to another prelim/grand final. And you need to see him improve. Like, there's no point making prelim after prelim after prelim if you're not going to actually go and do anything. You know, okay, cool. You can say it's a relatively successful year. You got to see that your team get all the way to the prelim. You know, that's still a special moment and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you want to see your team win a premiership. And can you see this Cronulla Sharks team win a premiership right now? I don't know. Do you look on paper and think they could do it? Yeah, I look on paper and say this Sharks team absolutely could win a premiership. But they never do. So that's my biggest concern in regards to their coach being able to get the most out of them. But I'm going to take the Sharkies here. I'm going to take him 1-12. I definitely do respect the Dolphins here, and I think the Dolphins absolutely could win this game. It's just that I probably would have tipped the Dolphins if they had Isai Katoa and Hamiso. If it was full strength on full strength, I probably would have went with the Dolphins here, and I could still see them winning it. It is at KO Stadium in Redcliffe, so it's not at Suncorp Stadium. Packed out crowd over there. At the old Redcliffe, you know, they're going to be fired up. But with that being said, I just think the Sharks should have too much talent here. But we've been let down by them so many times before. So it would not surprise me if they lost. Now, in terms of the ladder, the Dolphins and the Sharks are both on 24 points. So you can actually, Oh, no, the points differential separated, so that's why you can actually talk differently here. So the Dolphins on 24 points with plus 130. They're equal with the Sharks on 24 and plus 57. If the Dolphins had to win this game, they would go above the Newcastle Knights at the time being. They play the Rabbitohs tomorrow. If the Dolphins would go into 4th position, but equal with the Knights, and they would also go above the Roosters into 3rd position on 26 points, but the Roosters have a plus 60, but they play the Eels later on today. You would assume that the Roosters should win that game well to try and lock down a bit of points differential there. But overall, Dolphins for the time being would be in 3rd, and then it would just depend on the... I definitely expect the Roosters to win. Knights Rabbitohs is a very tough game to read. So with a win, it's guaranteed 3rd, 4th, or 5th. With a loss, however, well, they would automatically go below the Sharks. Then Manly, Rabbitohs, and Cowboys are on 22. Manly play the Cowboys, so one of those two teams will be equal with the Dolphins. Now, if the Cowboys win, they're minus 17, forget that. But if Manly win, they're plus 133. So they're already a better points differential than the Dolphins as we currently speak. So Manly would go into 6th position, and the Dolphins would go to 7th position. And then the Rabbitohs, they're with a plus 84. If the Dolphins were to say lose by 30, which is unlikely, but if they lost by 30 here, and then the Rabbitohs won by about 18, then they would go below the Rabbitohs into 8th position there, and then they'd be skirting the top 8, which is a nerve-wracking feeling for Dolphins fans who obviously would have been very, very confident a couple of weeks ago, and right now, in terms of making a top 4, and you still should, but also you would be getting a little bit nervous in terms of that. So with a loss here, you're guaranteed maximum 6th. But Manly beating the Cowboys at Brookie could be huge, and obviously Rabbitohs Knights is a tough one. Those two games are obviously very, very tough, and you could easily see yourselves being in 7th position or at worst in 8th position. So that's the Dolphins. Sharks, on the other hand, with the plus 57, well, they would go above the Knights into 4th position with the plus 41. But again, the Knights by the Rabbitohs. They would not go above the Roosters unless they won by 14 points or more. The Roosters are on plus 60. So, they would have to win by 4 points or more. So they probably will go above the Roosters, actually. Yeah, they will go above the Roosters there. So they'll go into 3rd, and then it just comes down to the Roosters losing to the Eels. Otherwise, the Roosters will go back above them. So they're kind of the exact same. They're either 3rd, 4th, or 5th, depending on those other two results there. And then you go with a loss. That's where it gets a little bit more techie. So Manly play the Cowboys. If Manly wins, Sharks would go down into 7th position. And if Rabbitohs, they're on a plus 84 compared to the Sharks plus 57. The Rabbitohs, if they beat the Knights, the Sharks would go down into 8th position. And then, luckily for them, Manly and Cowboys play, so the Cowboys couldn't go above them anyway, so they would love a Cowboys win. If they lost this game, regardless, you should be definitely wanting the Cowboys to win, because the Cowboys will be, well behind you in points differential, and also they would be actually equal with you with a loss, but at the end of the day, it would mean that Manly wouldn't go above you. I guess actually, Manly winning, sacrificing your spot to go 7th, so that the Cowboys stay 2 points below you and points differential far away, which means it's essentially a 2-game gap, is actually quite huge. So, I don't know what you'd think there. But overall, Sharks could finish off as low as 8th. And the highest they could finish is actually technically in 3rd, but it's unlikely. But there you go, guys. That's the preview here for today's game. The game starts in 10 minutes' time. Obviously, do me a big old favour. Go and smack that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. Let's rock and roll here for a big day. Like I said, right after this game, we will have the Doggies taking on the Canberra Raiders, and then the Roosters taking on Parramatta. So Dogs desperate for a win to get in contention for the top 8. Raiders, their season's pretty much just done. But if they win, it'd be the most slice of a chance of them making a top 8 push. And Roosters Eels, if Roosters lose that game, I am putting them on scam straight away. I'm doing it. I straight up will put them on scam. I will do it. No debate about it. No debate about it whatsoever. But all right, guys, let's get into the chat and let's fire it up. Let's fire this bad boy up. Cleo says, hands up, fins up. Yeah, not getting my hands up. Not doing that. C8 bands up Cronulla. Tiger says, hope everyone is having a blessed and productive Saturday. God bless you. Annie says, having a good weekend so far. Home the NRL is getting Brayley and AFB back. I believe we can win this game, but you can never tell what Sharks you're going to get. You can never tell what Sharks you're going to get. This is coming from a Cronulla fan. I absolutely agree with you. And the biggest thing is that the Dolphins have massive players out who are not even involved in the bench in Hamiso and Isai Katoa. Isai Katoa obviously injured and Hamiso just not backing up here. So yeah, this is a prime time opportunity for the Sharkies to go and absolutely crunch them. But it is at KO Stadium. They're both in a similar position. They're both fighting for a top 4 spot right now, let alone a top 8 spot. And yeah, you never know what's going to happen with the Cronulla Sharks. I'm going to tip them here today. I think that they should be able to get the job done, but I'm not guaranteed. I'm never confident. Ben says Broncos being 2020 Broncos this season. Yeah, Broncos aren't last, man. Homie says, yeah, I'm worried about Cody Nicarima. He's cut us up in attack. Owen G. Brisbane says, do you think Broncos will make the top 8? Bro, what? Come on, man. Let's be realistic, bro. The Broncos have got 5 wins. You need 13 wins to get into the top 8. What do you mean are the Broncos going to make the top 8? Broncos have played all 3 of their buys, which means that across the next 9 rounds, they need to win 8 of their next 9 games just to be in with a chance of it. Your points differential is minus 126 right now. We're not talking about top 8 with the Brisbane Broncos this year, man. We're talking about them, still having to avoid the spoon, mind you, but also trying to avoid the bottom 4 because they're 3 losses away from the Dragons. The Dragons, I don't think, win 3 more games, but they're 3 away from the Dragons there. You've got the Panthers next week, which is just like, good luck with that one. You got the Cowboys, also good luck with that one. The Knights, good luck with that one. The Dolphins, good luck with that one. The Warriors, good luck with that one. You need to win 8 of your next 9 games, and you play 1st, 9th, 4th, 5th, and 2nd across your next 5 games. Across your next 5 games, 1st, 9th, 4th, 5th, and 2nd, before you get to take on the Raiders, who may be fighting for a top 8 spot, but they're not going to be doing anything. Storm, who probably are fighting for a top 8 spot at that point, and then Bulldogs, who are definitely still fighting for that top 8 at that point. There's no chance. Clip this up. Tattoo it on your forehead. And get it all plastered around Buddy Red Hill and try and get some motivation from it. The Broncos, there's no chance they make the top 8 from here, bro. It's not even, you shouldn't even be thinking about that. You should be thinking about them avoiding the bottom 4. They're not getting 8 out of their next 9 game wins. Because you would have to essentially take down the entirety of the top 4 in that period. Well, no, not the Roosters, but the Panthers, the Warriors, and the Knights, and then you've got the Dolphins there as well. Like, it's not happening, bro. It's not happening. And then, with that being said, you also rely on other teams doing. We shouldn't be talking about them in the top 8. We should be talking about them avoiding the spoon and avoiding the bottom 4. And he says, I think Sharks will win, but I'd like the Finns to win. Of course, you're a Dragons fan. Of course, you'd rather the Finns to win. Broncos get the spoon. How many says, if we give away any more than 5 or 6 penalties, we'll probably lose it. Dolphins kill on their momentum. Sure, but again, they've got Noah Katoa and Hamiso, so they're a very different Dolphins team to what you're kind of expecting here. But 5 or 6 penalties is extremely low. No, it's not extremely low. It's low. It's probably a pretty normal range, actually. It's probably a pretty normal range. I'd say if you're going more so above the set, like 10 penalties last week is stupid. You're probably right, to be fair. If you're giving up 7 or more, you probably do lose. You're probably right. Up the Gold Coast Titans says, should I captain Herbie? I'd be... like, Herbie is always... I'd probably VC him and then try and loophole, potentially. I'd probably VC him, man. I wouldn't go the straight captain. But then again, like, Sharks defensively this year, 345 points against them. It's worse off than the Panthers, the Warriors, the Roosters, the Dolphins, the Manly Sea Eagles, and that's it. So they're the 6th best defense in the league so far this season, whilst the Dolphins, they are the 5th best defense in the league so far this season. No, 4th best defense in the league so far this season. And then for the Dolphins on the attack, but again, they lose a lot with the Katoa and Hamiso out, so that this attack is a little bit of a falsity. But 452, so that's the 3rd best attack in the comp right now. But if you're taking out your halfback and you're taking out your fullback, you're probably reducing them to about the 5th or 6th range. Whilst the Sharks at 402, they're behind the Panthers, the Warriors, the Knights, the Dolphins. 384 points to the Roosters this year is diabolical, by the way. Manly, Rabbitohs, they are the 7th best attack in the league, the Sharks. So I would be cautious about just straight up captaining Herbie in this game, because the Sharks, they do know how to have a good defense, but it's not just really been this year per se. Usually they're a lot better in terms of defense than what they have been this year. Nico says, how long is Katoa out for? I'm actually not too sure, to be fair. How long? I'm going to Google it. Game starts in 5 minutes. How long is Isaiah Katoa out for? I think it's like 4 more weeks, maybe. 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, expected to be starting 4 to 6 weeks. So he missed last week, so this will be the second week, if I'm not mistaken. Might be third. No, I think it's the second week. So that means he won't be 4 to 6 weeks. So at a big push in his first, if I'm correct there, and this is the second game, so another 2 more games to go would be Cowboys bye. So he'd be back for the Dragons in round 22. If it's the 6 weeks, it'd be past the Broncos. It'd be back for Manly in round 24. So it's not like they've got a massively difficult stretch there, though. Like they have the Dragons and the Broncos and Manly and whatnot. But yeah, it says 4 to 6 weeks. I think this is the second week, which would mean probably back just after the bye against the Dragons, if it's at the push of the 4 weeks instead. Says Dolphins plus 8.5. It's a tight one, man. If the Sharks come in red hot and the Dolphins don't come in red hot with their attack because the Sakatoa and Hamiso was out, I could easily see the Sharks covering that 8.5 as well. Sharks are a tough team to read, man. Like they can score points and they can defend when they want to. It just depends on if they want to here today. The Dolphins are missing some crucial plays in that attack. So, like, plus 8.5 might feel really safe right now, but I just don't know if it actually is. I don't know if it is. Bradley is starting. Gold Coast Titans, yes. Jake says, up the Sharky. You want the Sharks to win? You're a Knights fan. Either way, to be fair, either way, both teams go above you. Either way, both teams go above you. Realistically, you should be wanting a draw here, really. But then again, that would probably screw you in terms of the points differential. Yeah, you probably would just like a draw here. Not that that's going to happen. Jet says, imagine Dragons go in front of the Broncos on the ladder. Yeah, well, we've got a long way before that happens. There's still 3 wins above them, and I don't think the Dragons win 3 more games the rest of the season. And the Broncos will have to lose, 3 more games than the Dragons do. I just don't think that happens. Gary says, hello everyone. Blaze, how's the sleep cycle going? Hope you're doing well. I'm going all right, man. I'm going all right. Jess, good morning. Get around you, Jess. I'm late. Who do we think will win this one? I'm taking the Sharks. You're never convinced. You never guarantee with them. They're a scam. But I'm going to take the Sharks here because the players out for the Dolphins should be too much. Should be too much. Lewis, the Sharks a scam? Elaborate. Well, Lewis, the thing is that you've been here enough to be very, very well aware in terms of our thought process in regards to Cronulla. I don't even think it's an elaboration thought. It doesn't even need to be really elaborated on, because if you've watched the season so far, you would just simply get it. You would understand the Sharks are a scam team. You don't know what they're going to do. You have no idea. Like, when you expect them to win, they will lose. And when you expect them to lose, they will win. You will see them have a good half, and then you'll see them have a bad half, and then you will see them have a bad half, and then you will see them have a good half. They are the definition of inconsistent. So whilst I'm taking the Sharks here today, there is no guarantee. There is no convincing there. They struggled to get past the Broncos, even though they did get past the Broncos. They struggled to get past the Dragons, despite the fact that they did get past the Dragons. They got absolutely trounced by the Roosters a couple of weeks ago. They got a really convincing win against the Bulldogs, but the Bulldogs aren't great. They beat Manly 28-22. Manly had a couple of plays out there, and they were up 28 points to like 4 or 6, and Manly came back to lose 28-20. Close game there. The game where they beat the Warriors was no guarantee whatsoever. If the Warriors didn't come in looking as awful as they did, they probably would have won that game there. And it did come down to a missed kick, I think, late on in the game as well, in the 80th minute, for the Warriors to even send it to extra time. There is nothing convincing about this Cronulla Sharks team. Not a single bit convincing. This is a prime example right here. They go and beat the Warriors 36-22 before they lose the Roosters 34-22. Then they go and lose the Cowboys 46-34 before they go and beat the Tigers for 2-10. And they go and lose the Rabbitohs 36-12 before they go and beat the Bulldogs 38-16. Where is the consistency there at all? They are a scam, because you never know what they're going to produce. We know they can produce good stuff. We also know they can produce absolutely awful stuff. And that is why they are a scam. But I know that you know that. So I'm really confused as to why you've asked the question. Good morning. Hopefully the Sharks win 30+. Peter S. says, Averillo has struggled to consistently play first grade at the Dolphins. Do you think he will walk into a starting spot at the Tigers? Yeah, probably. Yeah, well, Taylor May is like their starting centre, but he's got a lot of injury concerns this season and overall. So that is a major worry there for Taylor May and their other centre. Well, they changed their centres around obviously quite a bit, really. Like last night, their centres that they went forward with was Hiamasi Makasini and Stafford Toa. I think that Jake Averillo probably gets in above both of those guys. Like Stafford Toa probably stays in even more so with Makasini. Makasini hasn't really lit the world on fire since getting his opportunity. Hasn't really at all. Yeah, Jet, how about this one? Take a 5-minute breath. How about that one, big fella? So the Dolphins are running out here onto the field. They are running out here onto the field. So, yeah, I think Jacob really gets into the team straight away. Straight away. The only one there that I could guaranteed say is a better player for mine is Talon May, but again, the injuries is what hurts him. Lewis says, hell yeah, what a lucid response. I was thinking more in a postseason sense, but appreciate it. Postseason sense, like they've made 2 preliminary finals in a row, so are you expecting them to make the prelim? If you're not expecting them to make the prelim, well, preseason you realistically should have been, but I wasn't exactly hyped on it because there's just there's not really been any improvement here. There's not really been any improvement whatsoever from the Sharks. There's been regression, even though it's the same team. And that's why you're just like, well, why is there a regression despite it being the same team that's made 2 prelims in a row? But they could easily still get to the prelim. They could. 100%. You just never know. You don't know, and that's why they're a scam, because you never know what's going to happen here with this Sharks team. You never know. They can be amazing, and they can be awful. Sharks average loss 19.2, average win 19.1. That's a great example there of scam too. But the game has started here. The Sharks will kick it off. Beautiful day in Redcliffe right now. Absolutely stunning. The cloud in the sky, and Flegler's going to start with the ball here at 13 on first tackle. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let's just refresh this live score. Refresh this old live score, and bing bong. There we go. It's moving and grooving. The Dolphins' third tackle bring this ball to the 30 through Francis Molo. Rex says, Sharks got this. Ty says, Hines hat trick on the way. Let me guess, you've either got a bet on him or he's in your super coach, isn't he? But then again, I could see Hines getting a try score today. Actually, if I would have gone try scorers, I probably am going to actually lean with a... I don't mind Nico here, but I'll go Will Kennedy. But if he gets 1, like Kennedy, when he gets 1, he usually gets 2. I don't know. I'll go with Will Kennedy for the back line for the Sharks. He'll get the ball here and bring it out to the 20 on first tackle, and then Molotalo to the 25 on second tackle. And then for the forwards, I would be looking towards Billy Burns. And then for the Dolphins try scorers, I'd probably be leaning towards, there's a penalty, Cronulla. And there's a penalty to Cronulla to start this game away. You can't be doing that here today, Dolphins, with your players out. But you do usually start off the first 10-20 slow before you pump home late. Dolphins are probably the best second half team in the comp. I think that's a guarantee, really. Backline, I have to go with Herbie. You can't go away from Herbie. Trey Fuller's not a bad shout. And then for the Dolphins forwards, I'm going to go with Finifuiaki as per usual. It's a very typical game here for try score predictions. Dolphins in a close one. Captain Dipshit says, I just think that without Hamisa, it'll impress me greatly if they win this game without their halfback and fullback. No Hamisa, no Asaka Toa. There should be too many problems in terms of their attack, but we'll see. We'll see. Dolphins are smarter than Sharks. They hunt in pods. Yeah, that's great. Too bad this isn't the actual animals, though. 6 again here for the Sharkies. They're at the 25. And they've got a great attacking opportunity already. Hazelton brings this ball to the 20 on second tackle. I will probably take Sharks off of Scam. I will take Sharks off of Scam, and they'll skip past Fraud Alert, and they'll go... They will actually just straight up go off the Scam and Fraud Alert with a win here, though, because the Dolphins are still a good enough team to remove you from that list. Blake Brayley, 6 again here for the Sharkies. Nico Hines. Nico Hines is going to be at the 3 on first tackle. Sharks getting an ample opportunity early here. Blake Brayley at the back now to Will Kennedy. Will Kennedy. Will Kennedy. Oh, I think he's bounced and scored here. This might be double movement. I think this is going to be a double movement here from Will Kennedy. I'm pretty certain this is going to be a double movement here from Will Kennedy because he's going to reach out for it. So there might have been a bouncing momentum here, but I still think he reaches out. So he'll get taken there. His arms definitely land on the ground there, 100%. 100%. So double movement. I was nearly close to getting a try scorer in the first 2.5 minutes, but yeah, 100% there. That's a double movement. I don't know what Will Kennedy's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking there. Gary says, Dolphins, Jess, in my opinion, but wait for the judge to comment. So why, though, Gary? Why would you go Dolphins here? I agree with it on form, but the form is tough to read on the basis that they've got 2 of their spine players out. So double movement against the Sharkies. Trey Fuller is the one who makes the try-saving tackle there. I was so pissed when Belgium scored. Why? Why? Also, you shouldn't want the Finns to win this one, Highlands fan. You should want the Sharks. Your points differential is a lot closer to the Dolphins than it is to the Sharks. You're plus 194, they're plus 130. You don't want the Dolphins to win this game because they're still within QE of your points differential, the Warriors. And they'll go to the left-hand side of Herbie Farnworth, and Farnworth probably gets an offload here. Probably. There it is. There's the offload. Nikarima gives it out to Davina Nafahu, and Nafahu takes it to the 40 on 4 tackle. Good set here. They've made some good meters. They've already made about probably 40 meters or so. 4 tackle. They get it across to Flegler now on 5th tackle at 35. Had Spain 3 defenders. So did I, but I also had the clean sheet shield, which meant that you had to give up 2 goals for you to lose it, so I still got the clean sheet for those guys. And the Sharkies, Molotalo will get this ball here at the 15 to the 20 on 1st tackle. But I'm kind of screwing them in regards to the next game because France will play Spain, and that's going to be a bit of an issue in terms of my fantasy team, because that means that I will have to... I'm not going to go all in on Spain for this next game, even though I've got plenty of guys in both. But anyway, we're going to try and keep as much about rugby league as we possibly can. 3rd tackle here for the Sharkies at the 35. I don't think beating the Dolphins today is enough to get them off scam, considering their injuries and Origin stars out for the Dolphins. I think it absolutely is. Like, at the end of the day, they still would have won more games than they've lost recently, the Sharks, and it still would be a good win here away from home. They're also without Adam Fanor-Blake, who's on the bench. I don't even know if he'll come on, and Britton Nakora. So they've got a couple of guys out, but the more important guys are for the Dolphins for sure. But they still would have won 4 out of their past 5 out of their past 6 games. 6 out of their past 7 games. The Sharks would have won 6 out of their past 7 games. And one of them would have been against here a Dolphins team that has still gotten wins even when they've had Origin plays out. Besides last week, they've still been pretty good plays out. So I do think that the Sharks should come off it if they were to get the job done. And that would be Jermaine Sarko, who's lost the ball there. He's lost the ball there. Yeah, Braden Trindle ball at the 33. I think that's a 0 tackle, by the way. I think that was a knock-on rather than a strip. Did they call it a knock-on, or did they call it a strip here? Oh, like they said it was a strip. Ooh, okay. I thought he lost it into Trindle and Trindle just grabbed it, but okay. 2nd tackle in for Cronulla up there at the 25. And now Cameron McKenna is going to run the ball hard to the 15 on 3rd tackle. They're getting chances. Dolphin structure defensively. It's getting tested early doors. This is usually what you see, though. Nico Hines right inside. Jesse Raimdog. Great defense from the... Nah, he hasn't got that back in, has he? Oh, the flag went up, so they are just going to call this back to the 10. Oh, dude, that was close there for Ramey to get the ball back inside there for a try, but it will be... It will go down here on the side. He's definitely... 100% he's gone out. 100% gone out. Captain Dipshit says, Sharkies get criticised harder because we know their potential is way better than they show. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000,000%. That is exactly right. The Sharks, they get criticised to oblivion because they are expected to be an unreal team. Again, they have made the prelim in back-to-back years. They have got a really, really well-balanced roster that just feels unbalanced, but it is a really balanced roster. And that's why I do have a little bit of slight, subtle criticism for Craig Fitzgibbon. Not on like a serious level, but I'm just like, why are you not getting better out of this team? 4th tackle now for the Dolphins and Lemuelu. And then you signed Adam Fanor-Blake and he did nothing. He hasn't really shone here at the Sharks. And last year was better than this year. And they made the exact same spot last year, even despite that signing, which should have improved them drastically. Dave Watson says, the only way Sharks get off scam is to make a run in finals. No, I'll be taking them off it if they win here today. If they win here today, I'll take it off them. Depending on how they win it, though. Depending on how they win it. So, Molotalo gets his ball to the 20 on 3rd tackle. Sharks have had a couple of chances at the line, but they just keep choking it up. Bulldogs vs Rays after this game will be a hard watch. Well, it just comes down to if Crichton can keep up the form from a Titans game, which doesn't prove anything, but he's in the 5/8 again today. Just let's see if that's changed their attack, and they're in a lot better of position. Billy Burns to the 40 on 5th tackle. Not a great set here from Cronulla at all. It absolutely has the makings of what could be just an absolute barnstormer of an awful game. At least it's not going to be pouring down wet conditions like it was for the original Raiders versus Bulldogs game earlier this year. Jermaine Sarko with the ball, 1st tackle at 30. But yeah, that game could be a hard watch, for sure. Roosters Eels could be an awful watch as well. 2nd tackle, because the Roosters, their error rate is just gigantic. It's through the roof. And the Eels, I don't even need to give you an inclination in regards to what they could do. There's a knock-on from the Dolphins, and Sharkies 0 tackle at the 45. A double knock-on, but it's Sharks ball at the 45. First knock on Dolphins. They're making mistakes early. Well, Sharks, you've got to pounce here, man. This is the time where you need to do well because the Dolphins typically will run home strong. They're going to challenge us here, the Dolphins. Okay. Interesting call to challenge this. Dolphins saying that the Sharks knocked this ball on first. I don't know how that's possible, but I could be proven wrong any moment now. So Nicarima. And no, that's off of Dolphins. It's off of Dolphins, I think. Yeah, the angle goes blurry at the worst possible time. You're not going to be able to see it. This is going to be inconclusive. Oh, maybe the left arm of Ramian. Yeah, probably does actually touch Ramian here. This is a knock-on. Damn, they get super lucky there with a really, really good angle behind because the other angle was too blurry and would have been inconclusive. But yeah, they will call it a knock-on from the Sharks. So Dolphins get lucky there at the 45. And it'll be Dolphins ball. That's a very risky challenge there. Francis Molo, I've got to be honest with you, that is a pretty ridiculous challenge. They've gotten super lucky that it's come away here, but I don't think Francis Molo knows for 100% fact that ball didn't knock on from him first. I think that he's taken a bit of a gamble there, which is a big gamble in the 8th minute. Now, again, it's paid off for him, so it's worked out, but also I think that was a real risky front rower challenge where it was more ego than anything, and they've just gotten super lucky that it actually does just graze Ramian's arm there, Ramian's hand before it does get to Francis Molo for the knock on. So it's going to be third tackle now for the Dolphins at the 33. They go to the right hand side to Bradley Schneider. Schneider, quick pass to Nicarima. It's going to hit the grass. Avarillo gets it up to Isako. Isako steps back on the inside. Good movement there with the legs. Fourth tackle now at the 13. And they go to the left-hand side of Jake Avarillo. Avarillo up to Bradley Schneider. Schneider at the 15. He gives it out to Nicarima. Look, this defense is looking a bit worrying at the moment on this left wing. No, good scramble by the Cronulla. And Tavita Nafahu still moving, still going. He could have got the offload away, but fifth tackle at the 14. Dolphins score here early. That'll be a big sign for this game. Schneider, he's going to go back to the left-hand side. Not a great kick. It's in an area they can catch it. They do catch it, but it wasn't a good kick there. It didn't really give that much of an opportunity for anyone to do anything, even though they had a good opportunity to actually get the ball itself. So 10 minutes gone in the first half, 30 minutes to go of the first half. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. Sharks with the ball at their own 15. Nico Hines gets monstered there. Do you give your boys a chance tomorrow against the Storm? I give us a chance, yeah. I don't think that we win, but I give us a chance for sure. It's not like the Storm have been brilliant. They've definitely been worrying, but I just don't think that we beat the Storm in Melbourne. And Blake Brayley gets away from the tackle there at dummy half. I'm surprised they didn't call 6 again there because I don't think that he was square. But fit tackle to 40 for Thomas Hazelton. Up to Braden Trindle, and Trindle wakes it away. Doesn't go over the sideline on the full. It was a shank of a kick. He's very lucky. Which team do you need for the Dragons to go up? The Dragons ain't going up with 2 wins in a row. And also the Dragons have a bye. The Dragons are in last place with 2 wins. The only team close to them are the Titans and the Broncos with 4 wins for the Titans and 5 wins for the Broncos. The Dragons aren't going up anytime soon. And also, even if they won 2 times and the Titans lost 2 times, it's still a 131-point swing. The Dragons are nowhere close to currently. They just need to go and win next week, and then they'll still be down. But then if the Titans go and beat the Storm, or if the Titans go and beat the Storm, then which is unlikely, but if they did, or if the Broncos beat the Panthers, which is extremely unlikely, if the Dragons need to beat the Warriors next week, it's not happening. It's not happening right now. The Dragons go to Auckland, play New Zealand next week after their bye. So Finifuyaki, fit tackle now at the 20. 1 gust of wind, that goes out. Yeah, for sure. I thought it was going out in the first place, but it didn't. Schneider puts that one up. 44-metre gains. Good. Molatalo will grab it, and he'll get taken down to the 5. Good work there from Molatalo to get down before Isako could have Avarillo to come in and back him up to bring him back inside the in goal. And that's going to be Sharks ball here at the 6 on second tackle. Yeah, Dragons right now, stop thinking about other teams. Just think about yourselves, really. If you can get wins for yourselves, you'll put yourself in a better position to try and avoid that spoon. So, 4th tackle. I think you've played all three of your buys now, though. Teague Wilton brings his ball to the 35 on fifth tackle. Not a great set at all. Only a 30-metre gain. Roosters only team with 5 times 300 game players. You're right, Rooster Cogburn. Well, that should be showing they should be doing a lot better than they have been so far this season. They should be doing a lot better. They should win against the Eels by a big margin tonight. But also, I remember this point last season where the Roosters took on the Eels, and I think the Eels ended up winning by like 18 points, only 20 points. Maybe it was a little bit later in the year. Might have been like round 22, round 23 kind of deal. But I remember the Roosters got done over by an Eels team that was completely out of it, and the Roosters were fighting for a top 8 spot. So I think the Roosters should win by 13 plus, and that experience just then shows it should. But it's not like it's really been absolutely fruitful for the Roosters so far this year. By the way, Dolphins have definitely have the momentum in this game since that successful challenge. And they give it out to the left. Schneider, Nikorima. Great defensive tackle. And Ramian's going to randomly pick that up. Could have easily been a drop ball there. Ramian gets the offload away to Billy Burns. And Billy Burns brings his ball to the 13 to 12 on first tackle. Damn, Dolphins nearly got through there, but well done, Jesse Ramian, for not knocking that ball on. That was a very easy ball to knock on. But yeah, the Sharks are getting done in the middle at the moment. Cherry Evans' net counts as the other two players. Oh, jeez. If Dragons beat the Warriors at Mount Smart, I'm done for the year, Tugwood says. It'd be such a Warriors thing to do, but they won't. It's not going to happen. Nico Hines gets away from a really poor tackle there from Schneider. And he'll get his ball to the 35 now on fourth tackle. The Dolphins absolutely winning the field position game at the moment. Braden Trindle, he's going to go for a 40-20 here. And nobody even on this side, but it will be easy for Trey Fuller to grab it back at the 15. And he'll take it down now at the 25, at the 30 on first tackle. If the Dolphins can get to the 30 on the other side of the field, and they're already at the 40 now on second tackle, this is disastrous. The Sharks are getting just monstered in terms of run meters at the moment. Nikorima to Herbie Farnworth, and Farnworth at the 50. Will be a third tackle. They are definitely getting to the 30. Look how many meters they're making right now. It's fourth tackle and they're at the 35. Like, what's happening, Cronulla? Bradley Schneider at the 25. Short ball to Funafiwiaki, and there'll be fifth tackle at 25. They just made 63 meters. Oh my gosh. 63-meter gain there for the Dolphins, and Sione Katoa gets it, and it's a penalty to the Dolphins. I tell you what, Cronulla, there's a reason why you're on scam, bro. You're getting monstered in this game by a team without their two best attacking weapons. Like, what's going on? They've got no Asai Katoa, no Hamiso. They're just running rampant through the middle right now. Honestly, I know he played Origin. Back up Adam Fanor-Blake. Bring him off the bench, because right now, you're looking awful in the middle. The Dolphins are obviously looking a little bit lost on the attack because they don't have Asai Katoa and Hamiso, but they're going to get another attacking opportunity right now. They don't go for the 2, and Francis Mola was going to be 5 meters away here from the line on first tackle. Sharks, you should not lose this game. You should not lose it, but it's just so painfully obvious that they honestly may. Oh, he's lost the ball here. Well, you're allowed to strip the ball out here. If this is a strip, I don't think Flegler scored. This is going to be a no try. They're going to go to the bunker. But you're allowed to strip the ball here in a try-scoring play. It will just come back here for the Dolphins. So he spins out of the tackle there. Poor missed tackle from Hazelton. Billy Burns comes across here to lock that ball up. And he's lost the ball. He's actually just lost the ball. He hasn't even stripped it. This is just a lost ball there from Flegler. So no try. No try there from Thomas Flegler. He's definitely just lost his ball. Billy Burns hasn't even stripped it. He's already a loose carry. Yeah. I really hope not, but that is a Warriors thing to do. It is a Warriors thing to do. Okay, they could have easily conceded. Absolutely. Absolutely could have easily done it. But then again, you've had a couple opportunities on the line on a similar level, but you've just gone over the sideline instead, or... No, and you'll get this ball to 22, so you're pretty happy with that. But both teams have had chances. Neither team's just been able to get over the line just yet. So Sione Katoa, they get it out to Kale Iro, and Iro's second tackle at 35. Now, I want to see you at least get to the 30 on the other side of the field here. Otherwise, it's going to be really showing who is clearly winning this game as we currently speak. Third tackle now at the 45. They give it across here to Braden Trindle. Trindle short ball into the line. They're at the 42. So they'll probably get to about the 30 for fifth tackle. McInnes, he will be at the 33 on fit tackles. So it's okay. It's a pretty good set. Get themselves a 47-meter gain. It's a fantastic set, really. Still not as good as how the Dolphins have been going. But that's a knock on it from the Dolphins. So it's going to be Sharks ball. They finally get some meters up the middle of the park, and they're going to put themselves into great opportunity because they put the pressure on the kick. So that's going to be 0 tackle there for Cronulla, 5 meters out. That's massive. That should be 6 again. Not that it really matters, but a ruck infringement there against the Dolphins for sure. Molitalo will now have 0 tackle at the 4. Out the back now to Oregon Kafusi. Try to have it Shaggies. Oregon Kafusi goes over right next to the post as well, and that's 4-0 here with a kick to come. 4-0 with a kick to come. Oregon Kafusi. That is really strong of a try there from Kafusi, and the defense from the Dolphins definitely falls off at the absolute worst time possible. But see, Cronulla, this is what happens when you can have your forwards monster through the middle to get you those meters, and then you put the pressure on the kick, you get the knock on, you get the ball back, and honestly, the Dolphins should have made the tackle here and defended, but Trey Fuller and Morgan Knowles get run through. Francis Molo a little bit too late and really wasn't impacting too much, and then Oregon Kafusi just gets straight on through. Should have been defended, but at the end of the day, good try there from Oregon Kafusi. Good strong try there from Kafusi. Comes says, I know you've bet Sharks 1-12. I don't bet. I used to. I don't bet. Because if I bet, it ruins the commentary. So what that tells me is that you've bet on the Dolphins because of one, you asked about the plus 8.5. So let's not try and divert from your intentions and try to put the intentions onto me because I don't bet. I will tell you what I think is going to happen in this game. And yeah, I hate shit like that because basically what's happened here is that you've bet on the Dolphins, and because I've celebrated a Sharks try there, I'd celebrate the Dolphins try the exact same, mind you. But also that's a strong try there for Oregon Kafusi. So you can screw yourself with your intention of saying, oh, you're just being biased towards the Sharks here because I criticize the Sharks extremely heavily. That's why I reply to that because it's really annoying when people try to suggest that you're gambling on the game, so that's why this is your intention. It's like, no, what I'm doing is I'm trying to tell you we watch every single game. We have a decent idea of what should happen, but also the Sharks team is no guarantee. But it's not from any poor intention in terms of talking about the Sharks in a negative light or talking about the Dolphins in a negative light. And despite the fact the Sharks have gone and scored a try there, which was absolutely deserved, mind you, so I don't even know why you're complaining. Despite that, we will still criticize when necessary because throughout this game so far, they've also been getting done by the meters and they've been getting done in so many different avenues of the game, whilst the Dolphins are clearly looking lost in terms of their actual attack when they're getting into the attack in 20. So, yeah, that's why I reply to you like that, man, because it's a bit of a dick comment because it's basically insinuating that I'm giving you an unfair commentary based off of bet, which is not true. Pete Starr says, can the Dolphins really make the halves combo work without Izzy? Well, it's not looking like it at the moment. Like, Nicarima is trying, but Bradley Schneider is not that great. Sharks the only team on Scam. That should tell you what Blaze thinks. I wish they weren't, though. I wish they weren't. Again, I'll take him off it if they win this game here today. Will Kennedy, but you're right. It's not even about that, though. He's just trying to say that because it's not going his way, that it's that I've gambled on it, and it's just the guy's a moron. So it's going to be Dolphins now gets this ball to the 25 on first tackle. Like, the Dolphins absolutely can't. Like, Bradley Schneider is an okay player. He's not spectacular, but, he was okay at the Raiders, and he was okay at the Panthers, probably lesser at the Panthers, but he was okay at the Raiders when he got his chances, and he was okay at the Panthers when he got his slight little chances, and he's okay here at the Dolphins. Like, he's just an okay player. He's not a bad player, but he's not going to do anything significant for you in terms of winning games. And I don't think it's win-loss either. It's just that he doesn't really benefit a team insanely to the point where you're looking at Schneider and going, oh shit, okay, we've got to play him today. So fit tackle here for the Dolphins at the 40, and Schneider is going to put that ball down here to the 10, where Ronaldo Molitalo. And what is that pass? But okay, well, Kenny's going to get this ball. And Kenny gets his ball to the 15 on first tackle. Comes to, sorry, you're right. I'm just sad my multi's not going to hit. I shouldn't. Look, it's okay, man. The reason why I reply like that is because I don't want other people to have the belief system of what you've just said. Again, 3-4 years ago, I used to do that. And the reason why I don't gamble anymore, one, because I don't want to lose the money. Third tackle here at the 35. No matter how much you watch football, you're still going to lose money. 1 second. 20 minutes gone here. The first half, 20 minutes to go. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. The reason I reply like that is because if we go down that path of suggesting that just because I've, gone and said the Sharkies have scored that try just then, it would be saying that I'm giving you a biased commentary for a game that realistically I don't actually care about. Like, I don't care about the results of it. I just want a good game, and I want to see good rugby league and good football. So that's why we hit back at that before other people start to think, oh, yeah, okay, this is the reason why he's doing this. Well, it's not. Everyone says he's a good depth player. He's not a week in, week out starter. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Bradley Schneider is a fantastic depth player. I would say fantastic depth player too, because he is at a much better level than what a lot of other depth players would be. But depth, absolutely. He is a fantastic depth player. In terms of depth in halves across the comp, there really isn't much at all. Titans girls score first, length of field, trying to post, get on the Gold Coast girls. Out of the left-hand side of it, Tavita Nafahu. And Nafahu taking down to the 33 on Fitz. No, gets the offload away to Nicarima, then to Bradley Schneider. Schneider here across to Trey Fuller. Trey Fuller at the 30. Oh, he's gone behind his own player there. That's a penalty. They didn't stop. Yeah, that's a penalty to the Sharks. I don't know why you haven't stopped there. You clearly ran behind your own player, Trey Fuller. That's a penalty to Cronulla. Gary says, commentary is always unbiased here. Even when the Titans play, if you cannot afford to gamble, then don't do it. It can ruin your life. Absolutely. You know, I've been down really dark paths. When you're involved in the sporting game, whether it be YouTube or social media or just in general, you know, it's very easy to go down that super, super dark path. And I've been down those dark paths before. And that's why I don't do it anymore, because it ruins the commentary. Because if, for example, say I've got a bet on Cronulla here, which again, I don't. But say I have a bet on Cronulla. Oh, no, you know what a better example is? Say I've got a bet on the Dolphins right now. I wouldn't be giving you any kind of informed analysis. My brain would automatically think to a Dolphins positivity, so I would look towards the referees calling bullshit calls. 1 second, Sharks are away here. Blake Brayley, good run to the 25 on second tackle. Your brain automatically thinks from if you're losing, the referee is giving some harsh calls against the Dolphins here, which he hasn't been, mind you. Good offload here. 1 second. Let me just read this set. We'll go through this set. Second tackle. Mulatalo back onto the inside of the 15. He gets the ball off to Kayla Iro. It's going to be third tackle now, 13 metres away from the line. And they go to the right-hand side. Mulatalo off to Trindle. Trindle here to Hazelton on 4 tackle. He'll be at the 13. I'll continue this in a second. 4 tackle. They go to the left to Trindle. Trindle, short ball, kick through. Kale Iro! Try for Kale Iro! Really nice try there for Kale Iro, and it's 10-0 here with a kick to come. He's done a lot of work here. The Dolphins have actually got plenty of players around it, but Kale Iro just wants it more. He comes through, he grabs the ball, he puts it down. It is 10-0 here with a kick to come. It's a nice try there from Kale Iro. And it's a nice kick there from Braden Trindle as well. I think it was 4 tackles, so a little bit early on the kick, but, you know, it's a really nice kick through and will bounce up perfectly here. As long as he puts his ball down, Trey Fuller a little bit away from it. Isako didn't want it as much. Kale Iro, he's actually being tackled before he gets to the ball too, so even if he had knocked this ball on, it would have been a penalty. And I would have even argued that there could have been even a penalty try. Because Trey Fuller is making a tackle before he's even gotten to the ball. Look at his arms. His arms go around him there. But he puts the ball down regardless. And yeah, it's a try. That's a try there from Kale Iro. 17 minutes to go here. The first half is 10-0 to kick to come. So what was I saying? Yeah, so like then this is the problem with gambling and the way that everyone... See, he's clearly tackled him before he's even got to the ball. It's a try. This is a problem with gambling and sport in general, is that the reason why most people get so adamant in regards to just referee hate and officiating bullshit and all this type of stuff is actually because it will typically go against, whether it's right or wrong, they will see it from a negative light and say, on a perspective basis, like a lot of the calls are perspective basis, 6 against and whatnot. So because they've bet on this team and this team over here is actually getting benefit from it, they will immediately think that the referee is rorting them. The game will be ruined. You can't enjoy the game. And the whole point of gambling should just be to have a little bit of fun. It shouldn't be to win money, because gambling is not set up for you to win money. The house always wins, lads. So even if you go and win $1,000, let's go and say you win $10,000 bet on this game. You're probably down across your life $1 million, like, or $100,000 or $50,000. So you're actually just eating into your losses, and you're still losing, but at least you've gained that. But gambling ruins your judgment. The judgment is completely taken away from it. So you're not judging it via as fair of a marker as you possibly can. Nico Hines from the wing. He will curl it. He will curl it. He will get it over the black dot too. Beautiful kick there from Nico Hines. He's not always guaranteed from out there, but sharp shooter here today. 12-0 to the Sharks with 16 minutes to go here. So that's why, because I wanted to benefit the streams a lot more, I'd be in such a shithouse mood if I was like betting on the Dolphins here. And that happened many, many times in regards to games. So I was just like, nah, it ruins the streams. You get too antsy, you get too annoyed, and then you just can't provide as much of a fair analysis as you can. And people are still going to think you're biased, regardless, as we've seen before. But by doing this, it gives you the ability to see it from as fair as a possibility as you possibly can. All right, so they kick this ball down here to the Sharks, and Will Kennedy, inside his own end goal, gives off to Hazleton, and Hazleton brings it out here to the 10 on first tackle. Jess with the 2-pound donation says 11.5 MND for the win. Get around MMD, fire it up. Good stuff, Jess. Good stuff, Jess. Second tackle here at the 15. Thank you very much for the dono. And now the Sharkies will bring this ball to the 25 on third tackle. My brain is addicted to gambling and should have bet Sharks. Well, it's an easy thing to say now. My advice for you, man, to fourth tackle here at 35 is, I get what you're saying because I've been where you are before. I get what you're saying, but you really need to adjust that. Otherwise, you will go down an extremely dark path. And I know you don't want to probably hear this from me and listen to this and whatnot. But the feeling that you're feeling right now, this game's not over, but the feeling that you're feeling as, oh, great tackling from Cronulla over the sideline. That's unbelievable from the Cronulla Sharks. And the Dolphins will go over the sideline here. Sharks are going to go back onto the attack. They're all over him right now, Cronulla. They're all over him. That's a beautiful tackle. Jermaine Sarko by 3 of the Sharkies boys. He's taking him over the line to 15. So Sharks get on the attack again. He's caught that ball about 20 metres in the field of play. And then he gets held up. He gets dragged back to the 20, to the 18, to the 15, and over the sideline. That's really good work there from the Sharkies. Yeah, it's a 15, 20-metre tackle there over the sideline. Constantly moving and constantly up over the... being held up as well. That'd be an awful from Rizako. But I promise you, for anyone gambling and you're gambling on the wrong things, just know it's very easy to watch sport without having this sinking feeling that you've currently got right now. First tackle now for the 10 for the Sharks. But also, I will put it out there, I did say to get on the Sharkies today. I did say. Adam Finnell-Blake, he's on the field, by the way. Second tackle here at the 3. Blake Brayley to Trindle. Trindle here to Teague Wilton. Teague Wilton! Oh, he's so close to me. He's out third tackle. Third tackle. They give it to Adam Finnell-Blake. Finnell-Blake, Trindle, quick pass, Kennedy. Kennedy steps, gives it off here to Ramian. Decent scramble there from the Dolphins. The play was kind of really affected there in terms of slowness in the middle. Jesse Ramian to Billy Burns. Across here to Trindle. Trindle now to Adam Finnell-Blake. Finnell-Blake with a big run here to the 10, to the 8 on fifth tackle now. Blake Brayley to the right-hand side. Trindle. Oh, that was really nice there from Trindle. They kick this ball into the corner, and that's a try for Ronaldo Mulitalo. Oh, no. Trey Fuller. No, Sione Katoa, sorry, not Ronaldo Mulitalo. Trey Fuller is coming with the knees here, and he's hit the head of Katoa. Ooh, this might be a very risky chance of an 8-point try. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so, but there's a risky chance here. Sharkies will score. It's just way too easy for them right now. 16-0 with a kick to come. So 1 second. So Sharks go to the right here. I just want to see Trey Fuller's intentions here with these knees coming in. Katoa obviously took exception to it. Trey Fuller. Oh, no, it's just accidental. It's completely accidental. It's really unfortunate there for Sione Katoa. Trey Fuller just knows he can't get the ball. Realistically, Trey Fuller should be diving for the ball there, but either way, Trindle's having an amazing game right now in terms of his kicking. David says, I found the more you think you know about sport, the more you'll lose gambling on it as you overthink everything. 100%, David. What's what I say every stream, every game, every week? I always say the more you know, the less you know. Because the more you know should represent the Sharkies should be a top 4 team right now. The more you know should represent that a team like the Melbourne Storm should not have been on a 7-game losing streak this year. You know, the more you know, the Roosters should be, you know, essentially equal with the Panthers. The Roosters should be above the Panthers in terms of team list, in my actual opinion. Like, when you see their team lineup and you see their experience and you see their coach and you see their history, everything aligns with the fact that the Roosters should be the most dominant team this year alongside the Panthers, but they're not. You know, so you can watch as much as possible, but then, like, for example, nobody thought the Eels would beat Manly the other week. It's like Manly have been the much better team so far this year. The Eels have been just awful to watch, and the Eels just randomly win. You know, and that's the thing. Like, everything, there is nothing that points to this result happening and then that result will happen. Not a single statistic, nothing will lean towards that besides maybe like a rivalry. He gets a kick here. Sharpshooters today, Nico Hines. 18-0 with 12 minutes to go here. Everything will lean here and then it will go there. And you'll be like, well, how did it go there? That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense how everything goes there. Like, if you actually look at the Cowboys this year, it actually makes no sense of how they've been at the position that they are. But also the same thing goes with the Knights. But at least with the Knights, you can say they've got a good attack, and it's just their defense is not great. Because they've had more of the ball on attack, they've been able to win more games. And not like everything suggests right now, the Knights would probably be around that 7th or 8th position. But they are in the top 4 right now. They're currently in 4th position. The more you know, the less you know. Aiden says, drop 5 count Cronulla before the game. Well, I'm looking forward to the 10% donation. Aspect says, that's why I don't normally bet on a winner, just a try score or two. Made me about level with what I spent, what I hit. Yeah, I would say try scorer is a bit more fun. Obviously, it's not easy to get try scorers, but with that being said, yeah, you've got a lot more. Like, you're not out of it until the 80 minutes is up compared to, like, this game. If the Sharks score again here, you're not looking at the Dolphins coming back from 24-0 down. Katoa's was a huge loss, though. Correct. That's why I said that the Sharkies probably win this. On the back, they've got no Hamiso and no Katoa. Fit tackle now for the Sharkies at the 45. P-Star says, let's put a bet on how often BK will be interrupted by the game when trying to give his wisdom to others. Yeah, well, that's all part of the stream, man. Like, Treyful nearly dropped that, but he catches it at the 15, and he'll be at the 20 on his first tackle. That's all part of it, man. Like, of course, we're commentating the game, but, you know, when other comments come through, we're going to speak about other things as well. Duncan says, Dolphins at Redcliffe this year have been shocking. The last match at Redcliffe was a fitty bomb of courtesy of Manly. Yeah, that was true. That was the first win for Manly this season too, mind you, just after Kieran Foran was signed to the club. That was huge. I don't really think that that's the reason for this, but sure, like, it's something that you can take note of. But I think the reason for this is more so due to the fact that it's a knock-on from the Dolphins. It's a knock-on from the Dolphins. The Sharks get the ball at 48. They've got no direction. I think the fact here in this game is more so they've got zero direction with no Hamiso and Isaiah. England game will go to penalties. I feel Norway win. If it goes to penalties, you probably think so. Gary says, no one is judging Jess. The odd flutter during the game is probably adds a little excitement. It's when people are chasing wins and put large amounts of money down that they can't afford. See, Jess, your one isn't really the issue because I know that you're intelligent. I know that you know what you're doing, and it's not. You're not chasing wins. You're chasing the ability to donate to M&D because of a thing that happened with your husband, right? I think that's correct. But you're chasing to provide, but you're not losing. If you lose, it's just that, unfortunately, M&D isn't able to be donated to, right? This is what I take from your situation. You're not betting on it to win money for yourself. You're betting on it to win money for a great cause. So it's a completely different situation, and you're not going and doing, from what I can take, you're not doing ridiculous stuff where you're just doing it just to win so you can go, oh my gosh, Will Kenny with a juggle, but he'll keep that ball at the fourth tackle here. 10 minutes to go in the first half, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Braden Trindle, there is they're going to score a try here, but there is a massive something in the middle here. Mulatalo was going to score. It's going to be 22-0 with a kick to come. They're just going to check to see if there's obstruction, but it's going to be a try. It's going to be a try here. It's 22-0 to the Sharkies with 9 minutes to go here in the first half. So, yeah, Jess, you're not... we don't know you, right? But from what I can tell, you're not a problem gambler. You're doing it for a good cause and for a bit of fun. I think Schneider's just run into him here. I don't think this is an obstruction. I think this is a try. I think this is a try here for the Sharks. So let's look at Schneider. He's going to make the defensive decision to come in there on the player, and he's just gone for the tackle. This probably should be a try here. This is a try. Schneider has gone in intentionally to make a hit here on the player on the inside. Yet Todd Smith has... Yeah, so Schneider's come infield. Try confirmed. Schneider's come infield. Yeah, Schneider's making the tackle. Yeah, there's no blame there at all towards the Sharks. It's a try. That's awful from Bradley Schneider. And Mulatalo. Braden Trindle is having a generational game right now. 3 tries here, 2 of them off kicks. That off a beautiful pass, and Mulatalo will score. It might be about to be 24-0. Lewis says, as somebody that's kind of new to the sport, this is some good shit. Oh, when I said you know that before, I just forgot that you're a new fan of the sport, Lewis. Aiden says, come on, Ronaldo, get one, please. Well, he just got one for you, Aiden. Jody Sam says, Dolphin scam, big scam. Let's just remember that they've got players out here. But the Sharks are doing what the Sharks do. Nico Hines will get the kick through, 24-0. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because... Oh, no, I'll wait till halftime, but I'm pretty happy to take them off scam now. I am, because when the Sharks are red hot, they're red hot, bro. But when they are shocking, they are just abysmal to watch. Schneider at 14 to come on at the 60th minute. JMK on the bench. King Kong says, I like total points ban because it's nearly the whole game until a result. You don't care who wins, so you can enjoy the game. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, total points in between like 31 and 40 is what you're saying, I think. Like all 41 and 50 or 51 and 60. I think that's probably a good way because, yeah, at the end of the day, you're not invested on teams. You're invested on points. So I think that's probably a better way to avoid the problem gambling side of, as long as you're not betting like $100,000 or, you know, $50,000 on points band 41 to 50, sure. If you're just betting for a little bit of fun on certain outcomes being in a certain range, and again, it's not reliant on a team being good or bad, because you can have one team good and one team bad, and you could still win on a 41 as 50 or 51 as 60 kind of deal from one team going crazy. Comes says, I'm trying to win my money back, and there's the problem. As soon as you go down that path, it's problem gambling. If you are ever trying to win your money back, you've already lost. And that is some harsh reality truth that you need to listen to. So the Sharks, Dolphins get this ball. Trey Fuller could get away here. Taking out the 25 on first tackle. Home the NRL, Schneider tried to make a big play and left their defense in shambles. Yep. Absolutely. Second tackle now for the Dolphins on their own side of the field. The 35. That's right. The Dolphins have already given up 50 this year too, mind you. Jess, it's just my way to carry on watching rugby. It was a thing we did together. It just makes it easier. Once I get Max Plath, he'll be at the 38 on fourth tackle. Just makes it easier to still do as I miss him so much. Exactly right. You know, it keeps you, you know, you've got a different reason for it. You're not doing it to chase your losses. You're not doing it to make money per se. So they'll kick this ball across here as long as you remain that way. And Sione Katoa gets his ball here at the 8 on first tackle. David says, well, I feel when you're trying to win money gambling, you don't. But when you're not bothered, win or lose, you... Oh, it's a knock on here from the Sharks. The Dolphins, they're going to get an attacking opportunity 10 metres out. I mean, don't you win, gambler does that. Oh, when you're not bothered, win or lose, you win, gambler does that. Yeah, you're right. Because again, if you're doing it for a bit of fun, you're not... People will overanalyze their bet. They'll overanalyze their selection if they are desperate for a win. If they are desperate for the money to be returned. And that is the biggest problem. If you are doing it for a bit of fun, you will see it in a different light. For example, go to the horse races, you could do the form analysis and the form guide for days and days and weeks, and you could know everything there is to do about all those horses. But yet you'll have your missus who has absolutely no idea and no thought process in regards to any horse. She only knows that they're horses and they run from A to B. And she'll say, I like that color on that jockey. He's wearing a blue and red stripe, and I think that looks really nice. I'm going to put it on him. And it's like 36-1, and then that horse will win. And yet you had the favorite at $1.60, but the 36-1 horse will win. And that's the point. They don't make these on winners. Gambling is not for winners. It's just, honestly, you need to do it just for a bit of fun if you do it. Second tackle at the 5. The more you know, the less you know. Second tackle here for the Dolphins, the 5. And I'll go to the right-hand side to Kurt Donahue, Schneider, Trey Fuller. He'll get rocked down by a good tackle from Kale Ero and Teague Wilson. But Kale Ero, what a tackle there. Tell you what, the Sharks have looked really good here today. Outside of that first 15 minutes. And that was really low. They're looking really struggling on attack right now. Forward tackle. And Marshall King to Schneider. Schneider gets it across. Quick passing. Good pick up there from Tavita Nafahu, but he's going to go over the side. Oh, he's going to go over the sideline. Sharks are playing really good football here today, lads. The Sharkies are playing some really good football. You know what? I'm actually going to do it here. I've been really impressed by them today, regardless of the fact that there's outs. I'm taking them off the scam. Because they have won 6 out of their last 7 games. And whilst there's been some concerns there, this has been really impressive so far. Really impressive. David says, do you think the bad quality has continued into this round so far? I think the Sharks are playing some really good footy. Last night, the quality of the game wasn't spectacular, but you can blame the Tigers for that. Titans girls put on a show now, up 16-0. Get down the Titans, Jimmy. Get down the Titans. Oh my gosh, they just go and win everything. They win everything. All right, Gary, have a good one, mate. Magenta says, if my partner won money on vibes, I'd be happy for them, even if I lost. Fair enough. Third tackle now at the 30. Changed my tip to the Sharks last second. Well, again, I also have very strong belief in the fact that 90% of people don't even look at team lineups before they make a bet. I would say a good 90 to 95% of people will not look at lineups before they make a tip or make a bet. And that's why when you see people come in here and they say Dolphins to win 36-12, and this is not a shot at any one individual, even though there was a comment that said 36-12 Dolphins. It's not a shot individually at them. It's just at the thought process. There's no way that you looked at the team lineup and said the Dolphins should be winning this game 36-12. Like, could it happen? Okay, sure. You know, a miracle could happen. But when you look at the lineup, you're just like, it really shouldn't be happening at all. Third tackle went out at 35. Despite your concerns for Cronulla, 36-12 is crazy. Dolphins go to the left-hand side here. It'll be fourth tackle now at the 48. David's cheers, mate. Have a good round. Where he says, putting fins on scam alert right now. Oh, they've got players out, though, man. If they lost next week, you'd chuck them onto the old fraud. But I guess if they did lose by 50 here, I would do it. I'd still make the argument for it. Braden Trindle will get this ball at the 15. It'll be first tackle with a minute and a half to go here the first half. Man with nothing to lose. I believe the Dolphins are getting pumped because the Broncos fans curse them by bandwagoning on them because the Broncos are shit. That's just me, though. Look, I think you're onto something here, mate. I think you are. I think maybe you've cracked the code. I think you've cracked the code. The Dolphins are only playing shithouse right now because all the Broncos fans have jumped on their bandwagon. You're right. No, you are spot on. You are spot on. Sione Katoa on fourth tackle at the 50. Jess says, I have no idea of lineups. That's why I always listen first. So, well, obviously, we go through it here at the beginning of the stream. Nico Hines, Braden Trindle. Trindle here, short ball to Kale Iro. And Kale Iro will be at the 35. Looking for an offload. It'll be the 33. I'd go for a field goal here. Take a little bit of a dink. No, they go short side, quick play. Nico Hines inside. Throws the ball back here to Trindle. Trindle's been unbelievable so far. Trindle kicks his ball through for himself. There's no fullback here. Oh, Trey Fuller actually does come out of the absolute clouds to pick that ball up. And then he'll be still go here at the 25. He gets it off to Tavita Nafahu. Tavita Nafahu's at the 30. 35, the 40. And it'll be taken down to the 40. There'll be a penalty here to the Dolphins. It's not going to do anything, though. It's actually probably the worst thing for them because the Sharks were taking a while to get back. Okay, so we're not going to encourage that, man. I'm going to time you out here, man. Just come back and be a bit more normal. Like, at the end of the day, you haven't listened to a word that we've said, so that's on you. I'm going to time you out 5 minutes. Please listen to what we're talking about. David says, I used to bet with a guy who would bet on the team whose mascot would bet the other team's mascot. Okay, well, that's an interesting way to do it. Fair enough. Well, the Rabbitohs would lose every game then, based off of that. Is there a single mascot that would lose to a rabbit? I know rabbits, I know they're like pests and they're fierce with their teeth and whatnot, but like a horse would just trample them. A Titan would obliterate them. A Warrior would slice them. The Knights would slice them. The Storm would just be its worst nightmare. A Raider would slice it. A Cowboy would just trample it with its horse. To be fair, the Rooster... Oh, you know what? Who would win between a rabbit and a rooster? So apparently the Dolphins are at the 40. Frogman says, I hate the term bandwagon. When your team is winning, of course, your fan base is going to grow. Correct. He's making a joke at the fact that the Broncos fans have all jumped off of the Broncos and jumping on the Dolphins. That's the joke that's been made there. You're absolutely right, but also the joke's still there. It's going to be Sarko offloads to Avarillo, and that's going to go over the sideline. Trindle's having an unbelievable first half. He's had a 10 out of 10 first half. Braden Trindle in that first half was undeniably 10 out of 10. He had a ridiculously great half. It was a great half from Trindle. But anyway, It is 24 points to nil to the Cronulla Sharkies. 24 points to nil with 40 minutes to go here. Disastrous effort from Redcliffe. Unfortunately, they just got no attack. They were dominating in terms of the middle of the field for a long portion of that first 15 odd minutes, but since then, it's just been one-way traffic, and when Cronulla are red hot, they are shit hot, son. And right now, that's exactly what they're showing. But, all right, let's get into the team stats here and roll through it, and it makes a lot of sense very, very quickly. But, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. We've got 2 more games today, which is the Raiders versus the Bulldogs, plus also Roosters versus the Eels. But in this game, the Sharks 24, Dolphins nil at KF Stadium. Redcliffe, obviously nil pois, 4 tries for the Dolphins. And for the Sharkies, Oregon Kafusi, Kale Iro, Sione Katoa, and Ronaldo Molatalo with 4 from 4 on the conversions from Nico Hines. You go to the possession, 56% possession to the Sharks, 44% for the Dolphins. That is a 12-point swing. It is heavily advantage of the Sharkies right now. Now, time and possession, 25 minutes is the threshold that you're looking for. The Sharks are at 15 minutes and 32 seconds. That's very, very healthy. And 12 minutes and 5 seconds here for the Dolphins. That then justifies 27 minutes and 37 seconds overall. So it is a decent, it's not the greatest halftime time possession that you're going to see, but 37 is very, very good. Completion rate, though, well, this is a very telling sign. So 80% is what you're looking for here. 80% is what you're looking for. The Dolphins are at 63%. That is putrid. That is pathetic. 14 from 22 on completed sets. It is just simply not good enough there on any metric. It is 17% away from a flatline marker of 80%. Whilst the Sharkies, they're at 87%. So very, very good. Fantastic. 21 from 24. There is a 24% gap between the completion rates, which should tell you why the Sharks are just dominating them right now. The Dolphins are typically a good second-half team, but they don't have the attacking-minded players of Isai Katoa and Hamiso to really bring them back into this game. Honestly, I would not even say they're completely out of it if they had those guys, but they've looked awful in this first half. Now, runs-wise, 83 runs here for the Dolphins for 734 run meters. I guarantee you this would have been way worse across this last 25 minutes, but the first 15 has really boosted this up. But 83 for 734 is essentially 100 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run that you're looking for. You'd be looking for 830 meters. They're at 734. So 96, but essentially 100 meters behind it. Whilst the Sharkies, they're at 105 runs for 879 run meters. So they're actually down by about 170 meters in terms of 10 meters in average per run that you're looking for. And that's with 22 extra runs there for the Sharks over the Dolphins. So the Dolphins are actually technically doing more with the ball when they've got it. It's just that they don't have as much ball here, and that's because their completion rate is so putrid. 105 for 879 is not actually that red hot for the Sharks, but yet they're up 24-0. And post-contact meters with an extra 22 runs, they have got 308 post-contact meters for the Sharks, very successful, 213 there for the Dolphins. So the Sharks are essentially up by 100 post-contact meters through 22 runs. 1,000,000%, the Sharks are dominating this department, like they are winning it by a country mile, even if you gave those equal runs. But also, anytime you hit 300 post-contact meters and a half, it is a massive, massive success. So the Sharks doing very, very well there. Ethan says, how'd the Sharks get up by 24? Well, because you didn't look at the team lineups. So then we move to the line breaks. It is 3-0 to Cronulla. Very, very healthy there for the Sharks. Tackle breaks is 20 to the Dolphins, 17 to Cronulla. So defensively, the Sharkies have still given up quite a few missed tackles, and the Dolphins have given up a pretty regular amount of tackles. Average set distance here, 25 meters and below. This tells you a lot, actually. So 25 meters and below is pathetic to turn the stream off. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic, and 50 plus is basically perfect. Well, the Dolphins are at 33.4, which is underwhelming. And the Sharks are at 36.99, which is hitting the job and hitting the marker, doing the job in the middle area. It's only separated by about 3.5 meters here. And the reason that it's interesting is because the Dolphins have a 63% completion rate and the Sharks have an 87% completion rate. So that means the Sharks are essentially completing majority of their sets, whilst the Dolphins are not completing many of their sets at all. So if the Dolphins weren't dropping the ball as much here, they would probably be quite healthily into a 45 area. I would honestly give them an extra 12 meters here, but they're dropping the ball so consistently, which is reducing that average set distance. So I would say the Dolphins, it's just coming down to their error rate right now and their lack of attack. And the enthusiasm just clearly isn't there for Redcliffe as we speak. You go to the average playable speed, 3.19 seconds and below is extremely fast, 3.2 to 3.39 is fast, 3.4 to 3.59 is average, 3.6 and above is slow, and 3.8 and above is extremely slow. 3.12 here for the Dolphins is extremely fast, very, very snappy, very, very quick play the ball speed here. 3.54 seconds for the Sharks, they're taking a little bit longer, 0.42 seconds slower than the Dolphins, and they're in the average category. That is a massive gap in rugby league. Then in terms of the Dolphins, are getting way quicker play the ball speed, but it's obviously not benefiting them in this game. Now, offloads, 5 for Cronulla. It's okay. It's getting up there. It's nothing crazy, though. 3 for the Dolphins is very low. Kick the field goal is 83% here for the Sharks, 29% here for the Dolphins. And we go to the effective tackle percentage, and defensively, the Dolphins have been a better team. So 85% below is awful. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. And 90% above is essentially perfect. 89.12% here for the Dolphins. That's actually not too bad. You know, it's hitting the job. Hitting the marker category. 213 tackles made is above the typical range of 160 to 180 by 33 tackles made. So a lot of hefty amount of tackling here for the Dolphins. And they've got 17 missed tackles, which is on the average of 15 to 17, and 9 ineffective tackles, which is above the average of 5 to 7 by 2. So 26 bad tackles there in that first half, but across 213 tackles made, which is 33 above the average range. That's why you're seeing that really punch up to the 89.12. Because you go across to the Cronulla Sharks here at 85.49%, which is underwhelming and getting close to the awful category. 165 tackles made is dead smack in the middle of that typical range of 160 to 180. The 20 missed tackles there is crazy considering 15 and 17 is the average, 3 above that, and the ineffective tackles is 8, so they're 1 above the average. So with an extra 48 more tackles for the Dolphins, they've missed 3 less tackles and made 1 more ineffective tackle. With 48 less tackles made for the Sharks, they have made 3 more missed tackles and 1 less ineffective tackle. That's crazy. So that's why there is such a massive gap there in terms of defense in this game. And then you go to the errors, negative play. This is the literal reason this game is the way it is. 3 errors and below is really good. 4 to 6 is average, and 7 above is awful. This is where you're losing the game, Dolphins. 8 errors is awful. It's just pathetic. It's ridiculous. And 3 errors for the Sharks is really good. I would honestly put everything on it. That is the quite literal reason you're losing this game, because all the other stats are actually pretty good and pretty healthy in your favor, despite the fact you're down 24-0. So the 8 errors here is just gigantic. And then you got a penalty conceded 3-2 against the Sharks. Sharks love giving away a penalty, don't they? Ruck infringements 3-2 against the Dolphins, and on reports is 2-0 against the Sharks. Honestly speaking, Dolphins, if you hold the ball here, you won't concede a damn well 50 bomb, but you're not winning this game from here. The Dolphins are typically a second half team, but also they're missing Hamiso and Isai, which is a huge loss in terms of their attacking opportunities. Your completion rate is why you're losing this game, because you're actually doing more with the ball when you've got it. Maybe not post-contact meters wise, but run meter wise. Line breaks is low, but your average set distance, if you weren't making so many errors, would be well above the Sharks. Your tackle breaks is above the Sharks. The play the ball speed is faster. The offloads are pretty similar. The defense is way better, and the errors are just really killing you with 8-3. So you've been your own worst enemies, but also the Sharkies have been pretty good here to watch. Like on the eye test, Cronulla has had a really clean and crisp game here, which is why we took them off of scan. They've had a really clean and crisp game so far, and this will be, with a win here, they'll go 6 from their last 7 games. 6 from their last 7 games, which is just too good. Jason said, even though it hasn't been convincing, but they still did it. Jason says a rooster for sure. A rooster versus a rabbit. I don't know, man. I think a rabbit could win that. Have you seen how vicious chickens are? Yeah, but have you seen how vicious rabbits can be? I genuinely think that a rabbit, because, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough battle there. That's a tough battle between a rabbit and a rooster. That's a tough one. NRL says, what are talking about? What? What's what talking about? Peter says, have you seen a rabbit destroy a snake? No competition at all. Too slow. Rabbits can be vicious. That's what I'm saying. I think a rabbit wins that. I think the rooster is probably, they would lose every game if you're betting on mascots. There's no way a rooster beats anything else. Don't even start on an electric eel. Panther. Jeez. Yeah, rooster versus panther. Good luck. A tiger is, oh my gosh. There's nothing. And I think a rabbit does pretty cleanly beat a rooster, yeah. David says, Dolphins did fall off this time last year. Let's see if that happens again. Didn't fall off this time last year. Fall off this time every year so far. Every year. But again, their schedule for the rest of this season, they should be guaranteed for the top 8, man. They really should be. Jaden says they got no attack without Hammer and Katoa. The Sharks probably missed 10 tackles in that last play leading up to that penalty. Yeah, you're probably right, actually. GTTT says Dolphins playing shit at the moment. We're going to have to get our shit together in the second half. Come on, Dolphins. Yeah, but you're not coming back from 24-0 down with your best players out. How's Asako doing? He's got no real opportunities. Asako, actually, I don't even think I have any players in my super. Oh, I've got Molotalo actually in this game, my super coach. I forgot about that. It's like a real push to like still care about to really still care about Supercoach draft, but it's I may as well, like I'm live for every game, so I may as well still keep in touch with it. Oh, I just realised Selwyn Cubbo's not even playing here today, so I've got him in my team lineup. Well, I'll get out of my hole. I'll get Hull's score for Cubbo not playing. I gotta hope that everybody else plays. Like I hope Hudson Young plays against the Dogs. Is Hudson Young named to play against the Dogs today? Actually, I'll go have a look. Hudson Young. Please tell me he's playing. Please tell me he's playing. Oh, he's actually not. He's actually not. Oh, he's actually not. Oh, no, he is. He's on the bench. Okay, good. Okay, good. He is on the bench there. So at least he'll get some minutes, you would assume. Who else would be a worry? Munster versus the Titans. Oh, they have to. They're playing for their season. Munster has to play. There's no way Munster doesn't play. Jerome Hughes is back too. Lovely. Yeah, Munster's starting 6. Who else would be a worry? Robson backing up for the Roosters. Is he playing for them tonight? Reece Robson's out. Oh, painful, bro. I need to make a trade. I need to go and quickly trade for somebody. It's still half time here, folks. Still half time. Free agent. Hooker. Lucky I don't have too many of the Roosters players. I guess I can bring Connor Watson in. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bring Connor Watson straight in for Zaya Yo, who's on a bye. I know I'll be able to get Yo back. So, yeah, Connor Watson in for Reece Robson. Now, is there anybody else here? Dylan Brown's fine. Keanu Kenny will be fine. Okay, sweet. But he's damn well Roosters. Oh, so Roosters may not even have it all their way tonight. They're not playing Tedesco, Collins, Butcher, Robson, or Walker. They're not playing any of their starters for the Origin. How many NRLs is following Nafahu combined for 14 tackle breaks? Magenta says the only time you should gamble is if you bet $10 on Italy not qualifying for the next men's FIFA World Cup. Well, honestly, you should just put it for them never to make a World Cup again. There's that option as well. It's a great option. Great option. Dolphins surely can't come back from this scoreline. They're not coming back from this, man, with their players out. No way. Sharks, you lose this game from here. Not only will you go past Scam, I think you go past Antarctica, and what I will do is I will remove you from the table just completely. You will not exist here on this channel. If you lose this game from here, Cronulla, I will quite literally remove you from the table. It'll just be white. It'll just be white over your name. You won't exist, in my eyes, if you lost this game from here. You wouldn't exist. Jim James says, my mate had a vicious Bantam rooster. It guarded his yard well. My other friend's rabbit would have killed it with one kick. My money's on the rabbit. I've got to take the rabbit to beat the rooster. I've got to take it. Bro, the Eels could win against the Roosters with the outs from Origin. I don't think so, but sure, we'll see. Rex says, I think the rooster would smash the bunny. Come on, you Rooster Spurs. Rooster Spurs? What's happening there? I just don't think so. I think a rabbit would absolutely annihilate a rooster the more you think about it. I think the rabbit would absolutely annihilate it, really. Try predictor 70% here for the Sharks, 30% here for the Dolphins. You won't typically see that for this Dolphins team, but you do see it today. You will see it today. Well, Sharks right now, they'd be having a massive score in their thought process, whilst the Dolphins, you just got to look to not have that massive score put past you. Like, the win's gone, let's be honest. The win is... the win's gone. But just don't have Fetty put past you, because that would be the second time this season. Oh, I've got an email notification from the flight to Kazakhstan next week. Hold on. Translate to English. Okay. Sorry, I just need to check that. every time I get any correspondence in regards to like my flight to Kazakhstan next week, not a single lick of English is spoken. Not a single bit of English. How's Volkman going to play tonight knowing he's not wanted anymore after playing so well for an extension all year? Well, he has to... What do you mean? Like, this is when he has to play out of his skin to get another contract. He needs to play out of his skin. So if he doesn't play well tonight, well, then Eels are proven correct, and it makes sense that he hasn't been re-signed. He has to play out of his skin and has to be unbelievable. He should be more focused and more motivated to go even beyond where he's been. Common Schneider, clean this shit show up. David says, Volkman will play well as he's trying for a contract elsewhere. Yeah, that's a ridiculous thought process to think like, oh, he's not going to play well because he's not wanted anymore. Well, then nobody else is going to want him. Lewis is what you're doing in Kazakhstan. Just existing, mate. I just felt, you know what? I've never thought of going there. I'm going to go there for a couple of weeks, and I'm going to go to Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. Yeah, it's going to go exist over there. So next week's streams will all be from the Almaty in Kazakhstan. But the second half has started here, guys. And it'll be Sifa Talakai up to the Perth Bears next year. He'll bring the sport to the 15 on first tackle. Obviously, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Yeah, just go exist over there and check it all out. I'm going to an FC Kairat game in 2 weeks' time. Been invited that one by the FC Kairat, which is exciting. So I'll be then in 2 weeks' time. Is that where Borat is from? Borat is from Kazakhstan. Cameron McInnes gets this ball out of the 45 on 4 tackle. Captain Dipshit says, only reason I want the fitty, you know what is, so I can hear you sing the fitty, you know what song. Oh no, now we've got one of these spamming Muppets. They've been finding the channel a lot lately, these spamming morons. And they'll whack this ball up to the 20, and Isako will grab the ball, and it'll be taken down on first tackle. Disappointing half from the Dolphins. Disappointing half for sure, Andre. 24-0 is bad, but also there's a reason why they're not going to win this game outside of that, but also it was a really disappointing half regardless. Trey Fuller, great run here. Luckily, Billy Burns stops, probably could have been absolutely a try. Great run from Trey Fuller. Second tackle at the 48. They go to the left-hand side of Bradley Schneider, then on to Herbie Farnworth, and Farnworth's going to be at the 45 on third tackle. How many countries have you travelled to since leaving Aussie? America, Hong Kong, Fiji, India, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, and Kazakhstan. Yeah. Well, from next week, anyway. Since last year is the defining answer to that. So fifth tackle here for the Dolphins. They'll be at the 25. And they'll kit this one down here. Just a knock-on from the Dolphins there. That'll be a knock-on from the Dolphins. Touch from Herbert, yeah. So double knock-on, but it will be Sharks ball here at the 10. Matenta says, Uzbekistan is one of 2 double landlocked countries. The other is Liechtenstein. Oh, double... What does double landlocked mean? Double landlocked? What is one of 2 double landlocked countries? What does double landlocked mean? I know what landlocked means, but what's double landlocked? No, you weren't spamming, Captain. You were fine. It was the other guy who I had to remove from the channel who was just spamming one of those like, HG, watch Rugby League over here, when it's just a spam website, scam website. Third tackle, and it's Adam Fanor Blake, gives it off to CSF for Talakai, and Talakai is going to be at the 40 on 4 tackle. Fuller shakes his head at the ref like he's going to get a 1 second play the ball every run. Yeah, he does do that. Fifth tackle now at the 50 for the Sharks. I'll get to Europe at some stage, but Europe's a lot more expensive, obviously. Sharks going to run this ball on fifth play to the 30. That was weird. So Dolphins ball at the 30. When living on a consistent level in countries is far more expensive in Europe than it is in this part of the world. So eventually I will. But like mine's not short-term travel. So mine's long-term travel, permanent travel, which makes it a bit more difficult to do that permanently throughout Europe at the moment. Country that's only surrounded by landlocked countries. Oh, okay. So, okay, fair enough. Now I get it. Only surrounded by landlocked countries. Landlocked means you have no coast. No, so I understand what landlocked meant. I was just wondering what double landlocked meant. Double landlocked means you and your neighbours too have no border. So you have to cross through a country to get to the coast. Okay, fair enough. That's cool. So this is a 6 again. Now it's going to be second tackle here for the Dolphins at the 35. Because when I first read that, I was like, well, Kazakhstan is landlocked. And there's a lot of countries that are landlocked on the planet, but then I noticed the word double. All right, so third tackle here for the Dolphins. They're going to be at the 25 on the Sharks side of the field. Well, at least they're starting off the second half better than how they finished the first. And out to the bat, Donahue, short ball, Lemwelu. He'll be at the 15 on fourth tackle. Off to Nicarima. Nicarima at the back here. Trey Fuller. Wow, really good rush-up defense there from Sione Katoa. He's lost the ball too. That's really good stuff there from Sione Katoa. I'm telling you, the Sharks have been really good here today. Yeah, no, I got what you said, John. They've been really quality here today. Yeah, I just thought, you know what? Like, obviously, I've been in this area for a while. I've been in Thailand a couple of times. I've been here in Vietnam for ages. You know, I could have gone to the Philippines. I could have gone to Taiwan or China. China I just can't because YouTube's banned there, and I don't want to use VPNs. You know, but I've already been to a lot of places in this area. I want to go to a completely different living style, and oh, that's actually a knock on from the Sharks here. So it's Dolphins ball 5 meters away from the line, first tackle. Just a completely different vibe, and I never grew up thinking I'd ever go to a place like Kazakhstan. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not in your thought process or vocabulary as an Australian. So first tackle now for the Dolphins. They're going to be 4 meters away from the line. Rex is getting really invested behind this cockfighting stuff. Rex is getting really invested behind this rooster winning an imaginary mascot battle against a rabbit. So third tackle now at the 3 for the Dolphins. Norman says, this real scoring? Dolphins 24-0, Sharks showing on the screen. It is real scoring, and it's been absolute. Have you looked at the team lineups? Fourth tackle there for the Dolphins. That was a great tackle there from Will Candy. I thought that was a guaranteed try. They go to the right. Schneider, great defense. Oh, he's gone behind a play there to go down. Yep, fifth tackle now at the 7. Fifth tackle for the Dolphins. This is good defense in the Sharks right now. So Schneider kicks his ball through. Great play from Cronulla. Nico Hines gets it at the 3. That's going to be first tackle. I have a partner, won't be coming to Kazakhstan with me, but Sione Katoa's right through the line, but that's awful defense from the Dolphins. And Sione Katoa is going to bring this ball out here to the 40, 45 on second tackle. What a run. Max Plath has come off the field injured here. God bless him. You hate to see that. He's one of the best players for the Dolphins. Third tackle here at the 50. He's played, obviously, Origin football the other night. And in the night, that's 4 line breaks now for Cronulla. And 6 again here for the Sharkies. Jesse Ramey at the 40. It'll be first tackle now at 42. Jason says, what colour mankini you got for Kazakhstan? Titans colour mankini. Titans colour, mate. Second tackle now at the 30. Second tackle. And they're at the 28 now. And that's going to be, however, Peru takes it to the 20 on third tackle. Sharks score here, and this is going to get really, really ugly. Adam Fanor-Blake gets a great offload away to Trindle. Trindle off to Hohepa Peru. And that'll be 10 meters away now, 4 tackle. Any kind of score in this game is definitely over, even if it's just a 2-pointer, anything. That's going to come out the back here, and that's going to be a knock-on from the Sharks. No, it's a knock-on Dolphins first. So it's going to be a whole fresh set of 6 here for the Sharks. He's 10 meters away. Oh, Dolphins all over the shop here, man. All over the shop. Max Plath is genuinely injured right now. God bless him. He doesn't look happy. He's struggling to walk over there on the sideline. Max Plath. Sharks, if you score a try here, we're talking about a scoreline. We're talking about a big old scoreline. So they go out to the right to Will Candy, and Candy's now going to be at the 5 on first tackle. I mean, if your rabbit has rabies, I guess you're right. Still invested in this mascot, hypothetical mascot battle. Second tackle now for Adam Fanor-Blake at the 3. I think that even if the rabbit doesn't have rabies, I'm pretty certain it probably does anyway, but I think either way it wins. That's too easy for the Sharkies, and Kale Lero will go over the line, and that is now 28-0 with a kick to come. Sharks way too easy here, man. Sharkies way too easy here. 28-0 with a kick to come. 28-0 with the kick to come. Sure, the Dolphins haven't had a great attack, but our defense looked very solid. Again, I've said that the Sharks have been unbelievable here today. Just because the Dolphins have been really, really poor doesn't mean the Sharks haven't been amazing on their own levels. The Sharks have been really quality here today. Kale Iro puts it over. Gets the arrow out for Jai Arrow. And it is a try time, and we're probably looking at a 50 bomb here, lads. We may be about to look at a 50 bomb, but what we're looking at right now is 30 minutes to go of the game. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Right after this, we'll have the Bulldogs taking on the Raiders. Unfortunately, not going to get an exciting game out of this one, lads. Clint says, what is going on here? I didn't multi a Shark blowout. Well, you should have. Because the Dolphins, did you look at their team lineup before you had a bet? Did you look at the team lineup before you had a bet? Defense looks solid. Proceeds to see the score being 30-0. Arcanonymous says. Defense looks solid. Proceeds to see the score being 30-0. What are you talking about? Like a season-long thing? Like, what do you mean defense looks solid? Because Sharks' defense has been incredible here today. And Nicho Hynes will get the kicks. So it's 30-0. 30-0. Sharks' defense. Yeah, Sharks' defense has been good. It has been good. David says, Storm is only mascot that can't be beaten. Bad weather will kill anything. I would 100% debate you and say a Titan is beating a Storm. A Titan will create the Storm. Oh, yeah, they're looking at a hip drop there against McKenna. He's going to go on report. A Titan, I think, takes down a Storm. Because a Titan, like, Titan's a Greek mythology, right? So, you've got Titan beating Storm. I just need a Saka to score for my multi, but at this point it looks unlikely. Yeah, it's looking unlikely right now. The Dolphins don't look likely to score. It does not look likely. Second tackle now for Sione Katoa. They'll get this forward to the 27. What is going on with the Dolphins tonight? I gotta ask again. JJ, did you look at the team lineup before the game started? Now, that's not an excuse for 30-0. It's not an excuse for 30-0. But also, a lot of people are extremely... I think the surprise isn't actually coming from the scoreline. I think it's coming from the fact that people didn't think the Sharks would win, which would then look towards the team lineups. Blake Brayley, great run right on through. He'll be at the 20 on fifth tackle. That's an amazing run there from Blake Brayley. And they give it to Nicho Hynes, 79-metre game. Billy Burns underneath here. Oh, dude, that is crisp. Oh, bro, that is an unreal. If they score... Oh, Jesse Ramian. Oh, that's an amazing try, bro. Oh, that is an unbelievable try here from Cronulla. That is an unbelievable try there from Cronulla. Look at the passing on this play. That was sweet. 34-0 here with the kid to come. Zeus would beat a rabbit. Yeah, Zeus is a Titan. He'd beat a rabbit. We would definitely be undefeated when it comes to that. But Talakai started it off with an amazing run to the 50, 45, to all the way to the 40. It was a brilliant run that Blake Brayley then backs up onto. And then Nicho Hynes at the 15, across to Billy Burns. Billy Burns flicks it back here. Will Candy with a great pass across to Hynes. No, sorry, Trindle. Trindle's having such an unbelievable game. Electric. And then Jesse Ramian with it all to do, but he still finds a way to get over the line and score. So 34-0 here with the hit to come. This has just been unreal from Cronulla. This has been unreal. That inside part, the pass from Billy Burns to Trindle was great, and then for Trindle to catch it where you would typically think that he was going to go back out to the right, but he stays there and then passes it like that. It was really nice. Cronulla top of the table, 2026. Okay, let's not get crazy here, Magenta. What are we talking about? Give me the Black Penrith Panther with Cleary mounted. Mate, a Black Panther would beat majority of the mascots, but it's not beating a Titan. It's not beating a Storm. And I don't think that it's beating a Warrior, a Raider, or a Knight. I don't. Because a Warrior, Raider, and a Knight all have swords. Or does Raiders have not swords, yeah? Raiders would have swords. A Warrior will have swords. And a Knight will definitely have a sword. So the Panthers getting absolutely slaughtered by that. A horse in the Bronco is getting slaughtered for sure. It just depends on how many Broncos we're talking here, how many horses we're talking. Dragon would burn everyone, I reckon. But the thing is that the Knights A Knight typically beat Dragons back in the ages. A Knight, some random dude wearing a damn well 10, buddy, some 10 over the top. Oh, Johnny Gatto's going to knock this ball at 3. Like, what do you mean? A Dragon gets slapped. Like, you've got a Knight, some random dude from a medieval town in Serbia back, 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, when everyone Dragons were operating, he was slapping him with just about a bit of 10 over the top of him. Dragon got nothing. Dragon couldn't even beat Larry from damn well medieval Rome, let alone someone nowadays. My gosh. Would still beat like a horse and would definitely beat a panther. And now it'll be Dolphins penalty, 5 metres away from the line. Stereo says, what does this say about Dolphins at the moment? What this says is that they've got no Isai Katoa, no Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, and they've also lost Max Pluck to injury. But this is also a great performance here from the Sharks on an individual level. King Kong's Dragon's the fire breather. Dragon is a fire breather. Dragon may be a fire breather, but they can't even protect the damn well the princess that they've kidnapped because the Knight has just gone in and just waltzed on in and said, hey, listen here, Draconis, whatever your name is. I'm just going to take you out really quickly. 1 second, Trey Fuller. Trey Fuller here at the 5 and taken down like Puff the Magic Dragon. That guy's too busy smoking weed then to be blowing fire everywhere. Puff the Magic Dragon. Have you seen the dragon, the mascot for the Dragons? There's no way that he's not smoking something. If you look at the mascot for the St. George Illawarra Dragons, there is no way that this guy isn't high as a kite every game. 3rd tackle now at the 5. Jason, haven't had a chance to see any of this game yet, but really didn't expect the scoreline at any point of the game. What Finns, come on, boys. Yeah, Sharkies, they're doing well here. Oh, look at the defense. They've thrown the ball back inside the Dolphins, but the defense has been unbelievable from Cronulla today. 10 metres out, 4 tackle. And I'll get underneath now to Tom Gilbert. 5th tackle, 5 metres away from the Dolphins. 5th tackle, 5 metres away. And they give it across here to Cody Nicarima. Nicarima up to Farnworth and 5th tackle. It's going to get taken down. Gets the offload away. And Sharkies get the ball at the 10. Just really good defense from Cronulla and no attack from the Dolphins today. Dragons are too distracted by donkeys. Exactly right. We're trying to say that a dragon would beat everyone right now. We're forgetting about a Titan, who is a mythological damn well god. But we're talking about a dragon who's too focused on damn well Eddie Murphy as a donkey, let alone being able to beat a Knight. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it would be a Bronco, and it would beat I think a Dragon would probably beat a Warrior, because the Warriors don't have any, shield at all. Finstar Cubbo says, Sharks are gay. No, you. Blake says, Farnworth 6 runs is really odd for him. Well, they just haven't been able to get the ball to him because they've got no direction on attack. And the Dolphins will get this ball back to the 5. Isn't there actually something about, Dolphins and homosexuality or something? I actually think there is something about this. Homosexuality and bisexuality are widespread amongst Dolphins. So, yeah, look, as a Dolphins fan, I probably wouldn't be calling anybody else that in a negative sense because Dolphins are actually quite known for being homosexual. But you wanted to go down this conversational path. So, Max Pluck ruled out with an ankle. That was your choice there, Finn Starcover. That was your choice. And 5th tackle now for the Dolphins. They're going to be at the 40. We'll be at the 40. And the Sharkies will get this ball here at the 15. And they get this ball here to the 30 on 1st tackle. Geez, all the random conversations are coming out today. We've gone from mascot battles of a rooster and a rabbitoh to a dragon getting distracted by a donkey to now talking about Dolphins and their homosexuality tendencies. It's amazing, really. It's amazing. The things we talk about here on this channel is just outstanding overall. I blame you mainly for it, Rex, because we moved on from the mascot battle, but you were just persistent with it. So now we're back into it. 4th tackle now at the 40. But it does happen when there's games like this that are just gigantic blowouts. And they'll give it to, I think, Oregon Kafusi, is it? No, that took out to Pua, who's at the 25 on 5th tackle. Could we see a potential fitted bomb? But we haven't seen one for a while, actually. When was the last fitted bomb? But that's going to be drop ball here backwards, and Nico Hines will score a try. And the Sharkies are going to score. They're going to check this in the bunker, but the Sharkies are going to score a try. maybe 42-0. It also could be a knock-on. Okay, don't need to go down that path, Jimmy James. Don't need to go down that path. True, but don't need to go down that path. So Trey Fuller goes up, and I think, well, it just depends on the direction of the ball. Definitely touched by Molitalo, but does it go backwards? It doesn't touch Trey Fuller at all. It's just completely off Molitalo here. Just need to see direction. This is going backwards. This is going backwards here. This is a try. That's 1,000,000% a try. It clearly goes backwards here. This is a try. It's about to be 42-0. It definitely goes backwards here from Molitalo. Okay, you can review all possible angles all you like, but you can clearly see that this ball goes backwards. This angle is awful, but this is the worst angle to look at it from. They're all looking backwards too. Like, it's very obviously this ball's gone backwards. Oh, don't do it, Bunker, please. Please, Bunker. He goes up at the 1, and he catches the ball at the 3. Yeah, and then he's caught this ball about 3 meters away. Also, Todd Smith calling this a no try is insane. It's a try time for Nico Hines. Todd Smith, you are out of this world that you didn't call that ball backwards just then. How would Canterbury berries go? Well, berries, they could be poisonous, but we're going to talk about bulldogs. But the Canterbury berries, they could be poisonous. But it's like, how does the berry force itself into your mouth so you can eat it being poisonous, where you then die because of the berry? Because the berry is actually a sneaky one, but it doesn't have the ability to force feed it into your mouth because it's a berry. That's the issue. That is the issue. But you know what a berry would actually still beat? A rabbito or a rooster or like an animal like a horse, because they would go to eat the berry and then it would die. So the Canterbury Berries would still win against a couple of teams. Slug Rama said, I guess the Dolphins will be labelled fraud alert. Yeah, I should do that right now, actually. I should do that right now. Bang. Whoop, 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 whoop. Fraud, 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 alert. That is a fraud alert there for the Dolphins. That is a fraud alert. You are on it. It does not matter that you've got players out. You should not be losing 42-0. At any stage of any game, these are still professional players. They are still professionally paid players at the top of their game. But they're not at the top of the game right now. That is a major fraud alert. But they're going to be dropping from there down. By the way, you had a points differential of plus 130. You are now plus 88. Sharks, you were plus 57. You are now plus 99. You are above the Dolphins' points differential now. Before this game here today, you were down on them by 63. Unreal. Dolphins are a fraud. Look at the idiots, Butterfinger says. You bet on the Dolphins, didn't you? That's a very much I lost money on the Dolphins kind of comment there. That looks like. Brother, do you need an hour to figure out whether it's backwards or not? Like, so obviously it was backwards. Okay, I don't know what's happening here. Lesbian dolphins often use their heads for pleasure. I don't know what this chat's going down into now. What on earth did I just read? Newtown Jets could be armed with missiles and annihilate everything in sight, just like... You're lucky you don't get timed out. Fifth tackle now for the Sharkies. They're going to be at the 50. 20 minutes to go of the game here, folks. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. Yeah, but like, I would still back in a Dragon to beat a Jet. Oh, but it just comes down to if it's like heat-seeking missiles. If it's heat-seeking missiles, the Dragon's going to have a bit of problem. That's a penalty here to the Dolphins at the 20. If it's heat-seeking, it's a bit of a problem. If it's just like aim and shoot and land, well, then Dragon wins it. Most fraudulent team since the Knights. The Knights aren't on fraud alert right now. Yes, lost $1,000 just being a soon. Now leave me alone. Well, Butterfinger, I hate to break it to you. You should have been here at the beginning of the stream because I did tip the Sharkies here today. No Isai Katoa, Max Plath on the bench. No Hamisa Tabwafado. They had plenty of players out here, the Dolphins. Sharkies had Adam Fanor Blake still in the... Oh, he's lost the ball, the Dolphins. Oh, he's lost the ball. This is typically the time of the season the Dolphins usually will fall away and fall apart. And they're going to challenge this, but he's lost his ball, Lemwellu. When berries are more interesting than a professional NRL team. Yeah, we're talking more. It's more interesting to think about a berry and a rabbit and a rooster and a bronco right now than it is about watching this game as we currently speak. That is more interesting. 2 penalties conceded, barely given lesbian fans any chance. Oh, it's actually going to be a strip here. Billy Burns' his hand is there. He's pulling his hand away. He's just pulling his hand out. There's no stripping motion. This is actually just... It's a loose carry. He hasn't stripped it. It is a loose carry. Sorry for my comment before, but I'll never go swimming with him again. Lessons learnt. Well, look, we're not going to delve into your comment before. I'm aware of this thing that you said, and I'm aware of the truth behind it. I would also say, yeah, fair enough. You know, go and swim with dolphins could get a little bit dodgy. It could be a little bit dodgy. Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that anymore. You want to have a full suit on, that's for sure. First tackle now for the Sharks. They're going to be at the 18, the 28. And they go to the left to Oren Kafusi. And Kafusi will be about 15 metres away from the line. Second tackle. Don't forget, Bulldogs versus the Raiders right after this. You might not be going from quality to quality. You might be seeing a couple of... Well, that game just has all the makings of a bad game, but a really close game. They go to Braden Trindle, but if the Dogs come in and play at a really elite level, then maybe we could see that be a blowout as well. We could see 3 blowouts here today, but at least the Roosters haven't played their full-strength lineup. 1 Dragon versus 1,000 Rabbits. Oh my gosh. 1,000 Rabbits would get slaughtered in like one breath. Braden Trindle, look at the hole that opened up there. Well, that's a penalty for a tackle without the ball. Yep, that's actually a sin bin too. It's a professional foul. And if he catches this ball, they're going to check this for a penalty try here. This is going to be a potential penalty try. If it's not a penalty try, this is a sin bin for the Dolphins. This will be a sin bin for the Dolphins if this isn't a penalty try. Because he has been grabbed without the ball here. Jake Averillo's probably gone to the bin here. How is that not a professional foul? How on earth is that not a professional foul, Todd Smith? Well, that's a try, by the way. They can't call the penalty try because Trey Fuller's there. The fact that you haven't called that as a professional foul is outstanding, Todd Smith. That is diabolical. Teague Wilton catches the ball and probably does score there. It's a deliberate play to prevent a try-scoring opportunity. Todd Smith, you are off your rocker, but I don't really care because it's 42-0, but also, just because of the score shouldn't mean that we don't hold refereeing accountable for that disastrous call just now. Commentary saying the same thing. Second tackle here at the 5. They go to Braden Trindle. Trindle underneath now to Teague Wilton, and Teague Wilton's at the 5. I cannot believe he hasn't called that as a professional foul. And that's going to be... Took out to Bua, 4 metres away from the line, 4 tackle. Out to Trindle, who's had an incredible game. Nico Hines, Jesse Ramian, too easy. That's going to be Sione Katoa. 46-0 with a kick to come. Guys, this could be 60. Honestly, this could be 70 right now. There is still 18 minutes to go here, and it's 46-0 with a kick to come. 46-0 here with a kick to come. What the fuck, Dolphins? What are we doing, bro? What are we doing, Dolphins? What are we doing, Redcliffe? Never swim with Dolphins trust, Jazz says. Well, Jimmy, Jazz has given you a first-hand account of what you just said. Dolphins, what are you doing? Okay, sure, your attack isn't there because you've got Nohamiso and a Sakatoa, but this is completely unacceptable. This is completely unacceptable. This is completely unacceptable right now. And this will be your second 50 bomb of the season, mind you. You already gave 50 to Manly. It's going to be 60. It could be 70, mate. There's still a chance of 4 tries in 17 minutes here with the way that the Dolphins are playing, the Sharks are playing. Yeah, this is screwed. They're for and against, Jason. So, if they get this kick to make it 48-0, the Sharks... Well, they're into the plus 100 now, so they're getting closer. They're the third best. No, 4th. But the Sharks will be well into the top 4. It just comes down to Roosters and Knights. But my gosh. I love how the game is 46-0, and yet Molitalo's only on 53 points on Supercoach. Are we shitting me? And Nico Hines will... Wow, he's been unbelievable. This has been one of those games for Cronulla. It's been a perfect game for Cronulla. Nico Hines is perfect with the boot here today. That's an incredible kick there from the sideline. Hey, can we get another try from Molitalo, please? Knights points differential still 47 lower than the Dolphins. Well, 48-0. So the Dolphins were on plus 130. They're now on plus 82. They're below the Rabbits on points differential now. Oh my gosh, this is a nightmare for teams like... Oh, this is a nightmare for so many teams right now in terms of the Sharks up there. But also, it takes the Dolphins away. You're just like, oh, yes, the Dolphins are losing all their points differential. But then you realise, oh, wait, but the Sharks have literally just taken over their spot. Looney says, check the Dolphins' blowhole. Yeah, don't know about that. Blake says, loving the Hines Supercoach points. Will be looping that. Thank you very much. Fair enough. Fair enough. Second tackle now for the Sharks. How are you going in World Cup fantasy this week? Because I know you're second and I'm first. I think I've got a pretty good gap on you, though. But this next round in the final is going to be interesting because I got Spain versus France, and Spain playing France, and I've got most of the players from those two teams. Fourth tackle now for the Sharkies there at the 35. There goes my 41.50 band. Well, you just got to hope there's no more points scoring in this game. Fifth tackle now at the 45. Yamal did nothing. Yeah, Lamine did nothing, unfortunately. But I was able to keep the clean sheet, though, because I had the clean sheet shield. So I still got Kubasi, who also had an assist, but Kubasi and... oh, that's a great tackle from the Sharkies. Dolphins at the 8. Kubasi and... Who else did I have? Oh, Kukurea. Kukurea and Kubasi, I still got their clean sheet. Apparently Dolphins can beat Sharks in the water, but these Dolphins are getting a good hiding out of the water. Getting plenty of good hidings out of the water. Penalty to the Dolphins here. Penalty to the Dolphins. 15 minutes to go, but it's 48-0 to Cronulla. Where do the Sharks go on the ladder? They go to third, but like if the Knights and Roosters both win, then they'll go back down to fifth. But the Roosters are not playing any of their Origin players against the Eels tonight, so you'll just be a massive Eels fan. And then tomorrow, the Knights... against the Rabbitohs, it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50, that one. You will definitely be a Rabbitohs fan with that game. You'll definitely be a Rabbitohs fan. Because if the Eels can somehow find a way to sneak a win against the Chooks tonight with all the Roosters players out, and then Knights lose to the Rabbits, then you would be in third. Which is just insane to think about. But you have won 6 out of your last 7, and that's why we took you off of Scam. And this performance has been brilliant, regardless of the Dolphins being extremely poor. But 4 players played 42 points. Well, yeah, that clean sheet thing worked out great for you. Yeah, it has. Out of the right side, Jermaine Sarko. Wow, the Sharks still find a way to defend him. Oh, my gosh. Oh, he's lost the ball too. Oh, Cronulla have had a perfect game, bro. This has been incredible. Cronulla have had a perfect game. Cronulla have had a perfect game here. Well, King Kong, that saved you for at least a little bit. I'd save you for a little bit. I thought definitely we're going to see Osaka go over. I may be deluded, but I still think Spain's winning the World Cup. They beat France last year, 5-4 in Nations League. Again, pre-tournament, I thought the same, but I haven't been greatly impressed, but they're still in the semis. Michael says, Dogs or Raiders? I'm taking Dogs, but I'm not convinced just because of a win against the Titans. But I'm taking Dogs. And they are desperate for a win. They need to keep themselves in the top 8 race. Like this right now, Dolphins, you are not guaranteed for the 8. Like your run home, you've got a really strong run home. So realistically, you should be guaranteed for the 8 regardless. But I'm telling you right now, Dolphins, you're skirting on serious danger with this big loss because your points differential had guaranteed you. The Sharks' next 5 is Knights, Manly, Rabbits, Dragons, and Raiders. If you were here for the pre-stream where we went through the ladder and you need 13 wins, it's a good offload. They're going to get 50. They're going to do it. Kaolero, they're just running rampant against them. If you're here for the pre-game, we spoke about the fact that you need 13 wins, and the Dolphins have a really easy schedule, and the Sharks have a really easy schedule from here. You know, Sharks, besides that Storm game, and even the Storm game, could win every single game for the rest of the season. Like, it wouldn't even surprise me with their run home. So they go to the left-hand side, but the Dolphins, your points differential's taken such a big hit here today. And here we go, Mulatalo. That's going to be a drop ball from Isako, and that's going to be a drop out. No, they're going to say knock on from Mulatalo here. They're going to say knock on Mulatalo. Clarence says, mate, should have got the girls' team to play the Sharks. I don't think the Dolphins do have a girls' team. But even their non-existent girls' team probably could have done better than the Dolphins' men's team today. Tiger says, Cronulla play like this into the finals, this will be a hard out for anyone. Well, this is the thing with Cronulla, though. When they're shit hot, they're shit hot. Like, when they are playing good footy, they can challenge the best of the best. But the thing is that you never know when they're going to play their shit hot footy. They've played just absolutely blazing red hot today. But, like, they could easily next week. Who do they play next week? They could just as easily next week come up against the Knights and lose by 20. I promise you. They could lose by 20 next week. Not because the Knights are amazing, because the Knights aren't amazing defensively, but because the Sharks are just so inconsistent. So this has been an amazing performance by them today. But I just, like with Cronulla, you just know that there's an impending loss coming where you're just like, what do you mean? That's what Cronulla do. Yeah, I predict the Finns will fall out of the 8 at the end of the regular rounds. They'll end up 11th. Look at the way people are changing their tune in regards to the Dolphins based off of this one loss. Wait till Isako. They've got an easy schedule, man. Like, I'll read through their schedule again. We spoke about this in the pre-stream, but the schedule. It's a 6 again here for the Sharks. They're scheduled to finish off the season, guys. They're on 10 wins. They need 13 to make the 8. They've got the Cowboys a bye. Forget the bye. Dragons, Broncos, Manly, Eels, Roosters, Titans. They play all 4 teams in the bottom 4 by the end of the season. All they need is 3 wins. So ignoring the other games, they need 3 wins from the bottom 4. If they lose that, then you don't deserve to be. We should relocate you to Tajikistan. Actually, you know what? Dolphins, if you don't make that this year, you can relocate to Kazakhstan with me next week. 10 minutes to go here at the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Sharky, 0 tackle at the 15 after it was touched by the Dolphins. Tommy Hamilton, try time, and it's a 50-50 bomber. 50-50 bomber. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. You got 50 bomb, 50 bomb. 50-50 bomb. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. 50-50 bomb, 50 bomb. 50-50 bomb. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Shove that down your esophagus. It is 52-0 with a kid to come. 52-0 with a gate to come. 52-0 with a gate to come. Hazelton with the try time. The bald man on fire. Braden Trindle, great. Will Candy, great. Hope Peru gets that ball to, who was bald, to Hines. He's got plenty of hair, but then you see bald man Kingdom Hazelton getting over for a try. It's a bald man slap up. Kokomoose's next try wins. It can be next try wins, last try wins, whoever gets the most score. Either way, it's going to be the same win here, man. Can't touch it says you win some, you lose more. It is about to be 54-0 here to Cronulla with a 30 bomber, 30 bomber, 30 bomber, 30 bomber. I honestly consider putting you on scam, but I'm not going to do that because of your player outs. You know what? If you do lose by 60, I'm putting you on scam. I will put you on scam if you lose by 60. I promise you. Dolphins fans, I will put you've already gone on to fraud alert. You lose this game by 60 and it's to 0, 60 plus to 0, you will go to scam. 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 Scam, scam. Scam. Scam, scam. Scam, scam. Scam. Massive scam. What time is the next game? Next game will be, well, I'll start up live in 30 minutes from now. But the next game will start in 45 minutes time. Seb says, I just woke up. What is this? This is looking like scam. New Zealand says, the old Sharkies whoop the Dolphin. The Sharkies smacking the Dolphins here. Not a great week to be a Queenslander. Man, as a Queenslander, I could not give a shit in regards to this game. What you mean? It's a terrible week to be a Broncos/Dolphins fan, for sure. But the Cowboys... Oh, that's out in the full. Oh, my gosh. Cowboys, they get to play Manly, and the Titans to play the Storm. Broncos, they're biased. They can't really make up for it. And Dolphins, this is just awful. Shakes is scam now. If this gets to 60, which is probably about to, they're going scam. I'm prepared the Sharkies to go and lose to the Dragons late in the season following this. They'll probably lose to the Knights next week, mate. And they probably do lose to the Dragons. This is the Sharks. Like, they've been absolutely outstanding today. They have been perfect in this game here today. But if they go and win this by 60, there's a 100% guarantee they will lose a game by 30 points within the next 3 weeks. 100%. I'm happy with Fraud Alert for now until Katoa gets back. I don't really care if you're happy with Fraud Alert or not. You're going on scam if you lose this game 60-0. I don't care. I don't care what you're happy with, man. If you lose this game by 60 points, you cannot blame it's a penalty Sharks. You cannot blame Isaiah Katoa and Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow being out for a 54-point flogging. You are losing 54 points to nil. You've got excuses in terms of the attack. 54 points to nil. If you've lost this game on the basis of you losing Hamiso and Isaiah Katoa, there is far more problems at the Dolphins than you could ever imagine, and you're nowhere close to winning a premiership if that is the case, because you are so heavily reliant upon these two players there in positions that aren't known for their defensive positions, besides maybe Hamiso and the fullback, but also Trey Fuller. What's he really done wrong in regards to his defensive positioning? Oh, okay, Hamiso comes in. What does it change the score from? Nico Hines goes through. That's going to be 58-0 here with the kick to come. You're telling me, not you necessarily, GT, but if any Dolphins fan tries to debate this fact here, that you are going on scam, if you're telling me that this scoreline is any form of remotely acceptable notion just because you've got two players out in terms of Isaiah Katoa and Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, you're off your rocker. This is just outrageous. It is 58-0 here with a kick to come. You are going on scam. You are going on scam. You are going on scam. So the Sharks were on scam. You are now on scam. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There is no excuses here for this kind of a loss. A loss was fine. 60-0? There's no excuses there. No. Anonymous says they hide bums off the street. Okay, let's go through that team lineup. Their fullback, Trey Fuller, can typically cover for Hamiso quite well, but he's still a pretty well-regarded fullback. Jermaine Asako, one of the best players in the competition this year in the wing. Jake Averillo, starting centre. Herbie Farnworth, one of the best centre in the game. Tavia Nafahu is not Jack Bostock, but also Tavia Nafahu is a solid replacement. Hold that 1 second. Nico Hines will 60-0. 60-0 with 5 minutes to go here. First 50 bomb was from a winless Manly, and Dolphins had a full-strength squad. Exactly right, DBM. Exactly right. So Nico Hines, 10 from 10. But also, solid depth backup fullback, starting winger, starting centre, solid depth backup winger, starting 5'8", solid depth backup halfback, starting front rower, starting hooker, starting back rower. And their 13, it was their starter, was actually on the bench. Morgan Knowles was their bench, who was in the starting 13. There is no excuses for what we've witnessed here today. Not a single excuse that the Dolphins can use for a 60-0 loss. And it could be more. Sharks drop the ball here, but it goes backwards, and they're going to get the ball to 30. There is a chance of 70 still, guys. There is still a chance of 70. There is a chance of 70 here. Why is there a kid in a Penrith jersey with a sign cheering on Hines? It's a kid, man. Leave him alone. The Sharks will bring this ball here to the 40 on third tackle. Get the offload away to Cameron McInnes. McInnes across here to Molitalo. And Molitalo now, he'll take this ball to the 50 on third tackle. Daniel says the Dolphins are too close to the Broncos. They've caught disease. All the Broncos fans jumping on the Dolphins. This is the reason. So Dolphins fans, Broncos fans in the skies, this is the reason. Over the top here to Will Kennedy. Kennedy gets it across now to Oregon Kafusi. Kafusi to Will Kennedy. Kennedy pushes away from one, and he'll be 25 metres away now, fit tackle. Fins flaccid. Plenty of flaccid fins here. Trindle into the inside. Kicks it. That was awful from Trindle. That was probably the one bad thing that's happened in this game here. Here we go. Herbie Farnworth is away here. Herbie Farnworth. There's no way they want to give up this perfect scoreline right now. There's no way. 60-0, 3.5 minutes to go. And it's 25 metres away from the line. And Trey Fuller, he's going to be 15 metres out. 50 metres out. Second tackle at the 13. They give it across now to Herbie. No, to Marshall King, sorry. Marshall King to Nicarima, then to Bradley Schneider. Schneider across now Avarillo. Isako. Again, Trindle comes up clutch. He's had a brilliant game besides that kick just now. Braden Trindle is absolutely man of the match here. They go to the left, Tom Gilbert to cut to Nicarima. Nicarima off to Herbie Farnworth. Farnworth goes out, and he will get taken down to the 10. No one following behind. 10 metres out. Herbie Farnworth to Marshall King. Nicarima at the 10. And Francis Molas at the 8. They really don't want to give up this perfect scoreline. And out the back here to Nicarima. And Trey Fuller over the top here. To fit in a Fahu locked out by Katoa. They got nothing. They got nothing here. This has been a perfect game from Cronulla. Sharks ball to 7. This has been a perfect game from Cronulla. Press conference for the Finns will be a tough experience for them. An apology to Finns fans is called for. An apology for their performance in general. Please don't score, Dolphins. Take your donut like a man. They are getting a donut here. They are getting a big old fat old donut right now. They are. They are. So 2 minutes to go here of the game. And the Sharkies could make it 66 any moment now. There's still 2 minutes left. And Kale Iro brings his ball to the 30 on third tackle. Nikhil says after the Sharks have done this, it's more of a scam. Absolutely. Hazelton, great run right on through there away. McInnes up the middle, and it's another try at 66-0. It's about, Heba Peru's actually not going to score. He's going to be 10 metres away. Good work for the Dolphins to actually get back for that. But the Sharkies, they go quickly. Nico Hines out of the right-hand side. Hines over the top here. Sione Katoa, don't worry about it. It's a try, Jesse Ramian. 70 is actually still technically on, but it's 64-0 with the kick to come. I'm making scam bigger. I'm making scam bigger. I'm making scam bigger. I'm making scam bigger for you. 64-0 kick to come. 64-0 with a kick to come. Mate, if we have a Dolphins fan here who comes and tries to argue why they're on scam, they're getting lit up. They're getting lit up, son. Oh, boy. Don't forget, we got Dogs versus the Raiders starting up the stream in 25 minutes' time. 64-0 to kick to come. There's going to be a minute 10 left on the clock. Well, there's a minute left on the clock probably after the conversion. Maybe even less. Sharks were 2-1. Wow. I did tip the Sharkies. Didn't think they'd win by this much, though. Seriously, might be one of our best performances since our premiership days. This has been your best performance since, probably around 2016. This has been an incredible performance. It's been perfect. It's been perfect. Damn, Isako, you really screwed a lot of people's multis. Let's not. I can promise you right now, he could not give a shit about your multis. What he can care about right now is that they're getting done by 64 points to 0. They will not score a try here today. There's 27 seconds left. They're just soaking up the clock. I took Isako to score, and Mr. Clean has stuffed him every time he was about to go in. Damn Baldy. Mr. Clean. Right, so Titans win with just 136-10. Chapman scored 4 tries. It's because we're the GOAT. That's because we're the GOAT, Rice. It's because we're the GOAT. Nico Hines. Come on, make it a perfect game. Make it a perfect game from the boot. He does. Wow. Brilliant stuff from Nico, bro. That was a perfect game from Cronulla. Dolphins, you were ass. But, Cronulla, regardless of how ass the Dolphins were, you were perfect. Perfect. Simon says, your sport is so fixed and corrupt. Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed that you lost your weekly wages on betting on the Dolphins in a game that if you actually looked at the team lineup, you would have seen that the score was easily... Well, not the score, but the game was predicted. I tipped the Sharkies here because the Dolphins didn't have the attack. They had Noah Sakatoa. I forgot even about Jack Bostock. They didn't have Hamisa Tabuafado. They didn't have the attack. This scoreline is unacceptable. This has nothing to do with rigged. This is just about the fact that you just lost your money on a multi, which is your fault. And the reason why I take the piss out of you is because you're trying to call the sport corrupt and rigged when this result was understandable. We actually knew that this result was going to happen in terms of the Sharks winning. Just didn't think 66-0 was possible. 66-0. Didn't think that was possible. Simon says, I'm not even an Aussie stink. But the thing is, bro, is that nobody gives us a fuck about who you're from or where you're from. The fact is you lost your bet and you're blaming everybody else except for yourself. So we're going to remove you there, man, because you're killing the vibe, and we're going to move on from you. Enjoy your lost bet, though. We're going to go into the next game, which is the Bulldogs versus the Raiders. Massive performance by Cronulla. Just absolutely spectacular here, man. You know, they were perfect. You Braden Trindle, 10 out of 10. Nico Hines was great. Siona Katoa was great. Kayla Iro was great. Everybody was fantastic, man. Timmy says Sharks have to get off scam from this. Mate, that's the Dolphins on scam right now. The Sharks came off scam ages ago. They came off scam in the first half. The Dolphins are the ones on scam right now. They are on major scam. Major scam. I'm going to make it look a little bit better than the latter. But Dolphins, you are on scam. And Sharkies, you are off scam. And Sharks, you're actually going to go from sick to third position. Yes, and your points differential with a 66-0 win, your points differential is going to go from plus 57 to plus 113. Wow. Plus 57 to plus 113, whilst it's going to be plus 123. So the Sharks were at plus 57, they're now at plus 123. Dolphins, you've gone from plus 130 to plus 54. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You're well below Manly now. You just got to hope Manly don't beat the Cowboys tomorrow. Well below them. Rabbitohs are above you now as well, so you got to hope the Rabbitohs don't beat the Knights tomorrow. Otherwise, Dolphins, you will be in 8th. If Manly and the Rabbitohs both win tomorrow, you will be in 8th. You're now into the thought process of trying to hope the Cowboys lose their games. Wow. That's crazy to think about. But anyway, guys, that is going to be the end of this game here. 6-0 to the Sharks. We'll be live in 20 minutes' time for the second game of the day, which is the Bulldogs-Raiders. And we've also got the final game, which is the Roosters versus the Eels right after that one. Obviously, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Benjamin says, but Dolphins had a lot out. Bullshit. 66-0 is never acceptable. And the players they had out were attacking players, not defensive players. Asai Katoa, Hamiso, and Jack Bostock cannot be blamed for being out when they are losing 66-0. That is never acceptable. Any team, this is still professionally paid players. They still had majority of their team here today. The only 3 players were really attacking minor players, so it understands the nil, but the 66 is still on the Dolphins, regardless of who the players were out. But I will see you guys in 20 minutes' time. Thumbs up, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya. See you later. See ya.